Yo 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 yo, what's going on? What's happening? What's popping, people? Happy Saturday to you. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, my friends. We are in this thing, man, here for a live stream here today. No, it has been a minute, which I do apologize for y'all, but we are in this thing today here. Talk about a couple topics. We're gonna touch on the Kirk Cousins saying that he felt misled by the Falcons. We're gonna talk about that. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And I know I am late to the party on this topic. I'm sure y'all have heard this plenty of times. From plenty other platforms and spaces and talk amongst yourself in 2025 in this modern technology world. Quite honestly, we're definitely late to the party speaking on this, but we're gonna touch on it, give our opinions on it. And like I say, you guys give me your opinions on it, which I definitely want to hear. Also, training camp is coming up very, very fast, y'all know what have we been saying, all throughout the summer. The season will be here before you know it. You know what I'm saying? And training camp is about to start. I think it starts in about a week's time or whatever. I think the first training camp game is it the end of this month or something like that? Or the first preseason game? Everything is coming up very, very fast. I've had a lot on my plate lately, so I've been kind of out the loop, trying to jump back in a loop. But we are here nonetheless today, and it's great to be here. Great to be here. David said, I think Ricketts reported yesterday. I may be wrong. See, there we go, man. Everything moves at a snail's pace. There's something wrong with my audio. I'm no longer hearing the audio come through my headphones. Y'all, how's my audio? Can y'all still hear me? Because I cannot hear my music any longer. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Can y'all hear me? Am I coming through? I think something wrong with my mixer. You can't hear me? I wonder why in the world I can't hear my music anymore. That is so odd. All right, David says I can hear you. What happened to the music? Man, this for those of you who may have StreamYard, man, this stuff. There we go. But yeah, they've been changing StreamYard so much, man. I can't even recognize a lot of these changes. David says, okay, I can hear you. What's up, Coach? Coach says, yeah, I can hear you. Okay, y'all, appreciate that. What's going on with you, David? Big Ron Thomas in the house. What's happening with you, Ron? Coach says, oh, CPT. Yeah, man. You know how we do. If I was on time, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right. Got my dog Coach C checking in. What's up, Coach? One of the day ones in the building. Cool C is in the house. How you doing, my friend? Hope all is going well with you today. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna kick this thing off. I guess we can start with Kirk Cousins saying he felt misled by the Atlanta Falcons. We could kick that off and start our talk about Kirk saying he has been misled. Full transparency, y'all. Full transparency. I have not seen the Netflix series. Only thing that I've seen on it is what has been shown on Twitter, and all of the other social media platforms. So have not seen the entire thing. I may try to watch it this weekend if I'm able, but I'm gonna try to make it my business to watch it so I can catch everything in its proper context. But I have not seen it. I did see the clip when he said he felt misled by the Falcons. So we're gonna start with that. We do got Coach in the house also. Coach, how you doing, brother?
What's up, brother? I'm doing fine, man. What's up, chat land? Hope everybody having a nice and beautiful Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you coming through, Coach. So let's start with the, I guess we'll call it the first topic of the day. Kirk Cousins saying that he felt misled by the Atlanta Falcons. Coach, I want to get your opinion on how you feel about that. What's your thoughts on Kirk Cousins says the Atlanta Falcons misled him?
I mean, we I think we have had this conversation uh, amongst the core group, of us before on a Waffle House or iTest. I'm not sure which. Uh, a while ago, and I said this exact same thing. I think it was still football season, and I said this same thing. I said I think that I think Kirk probably was misled, by the Falcons. Like I think it's okay. So let me say this: I don't think he was necessarily misled. I think that the Falcons were content with having Kirk, but when Michael Penix fell in their lap, they just had. I mean, I was one of the ones that said we had to get a quarterback. So when he fell in our lap, they literally just had to get him. With that being said, I can see how he feels. Now everybody gonna say, shut up, play ball, you got the bag. Yeah, that's true. But if you have never been that guy in your life, you don't understand how that feels. Like when you're the guy in any aspect of your life, the guy at work, the guy on the block, the guy at school. When you that guy, it is a certain feel to it. And when someone takes that away, yeah, the shit gonna sting. So I mean I get where he coming from, but his level of play didn't stand up to par. So I mean he really can't blame anybody for real but himself. Uh, but I mean I get it. And I get the people that say shut up and play, shut up, quit crying because you got the bag. I get that too. Um, I think it's just an unfortunate event that just didn't go either party's way. I mean, that's just the end of it. Um, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not. I have no thoughts about it one way or the other, but I totally understand where everyone's coming from, though.
All right, so it sounds like, Coach, you can see it from both sides. Based on what you just said, you can see everybody's perspective. Which I totally do understand. Before I give my thoughts on it, we're gonna welcome Winston Thornton in the building. What's going on with you, Winston?
What's up, brother?
Yo, yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, what's happening?
Unfortunately.
Man, go
Oh,
ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Okay. Go dip your toe in that water.
I'm not getting hell no. Hell no.
all right. So Winston, we are starting off. We're a little late to the party, as usual. But we're starting off with Kirk Cousins saying he misled, but he felt misled by the Falcons. So give us your opinion, perspective, and thoughts on. Do you think he was misled by the Falcons? Like, what's your opinion there?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, we definitely we didn't give him the full spectrum of what our plans were. I don't know whether that was keeping the cards close to the chest or the thought of, well, because I mean when we signed Kirk, the Penix workout hadn't happened yet, so and they say that was sway them to go get Penix or whatever. So I don't know, but if we had told Kurt, I 100% believe it. If we had told Kurt that we was going to go get a quarterback in the first round, he would have stayed in Minnesota. And I know everybody talk about the money. Damn the money. He was already established in Minnesota. He could have
Yeah.
he could have did like a 1-year deal in Minnesota, got a quick bag. JJ would have sat the bench, and then he could have went back and became a free agent after this year. Well, this offseason he would have been in the free agent again and got another bag. He could have stayed in Minnesota. He had memories. They did numbers out there. He got arguably, well, I mean now it's 1B. It's 1B. 1A or 1B receiver in the league. However you want to slice it. I think Chase is better, but that's just me, my personal opinion. But I mean, like, you have everything there. You're not just gonna pick up and move halfway across the country if without some type of guarantee. And the way we did his contract, yeah, it says 4 years, but it's a 2-year contract. So with that 2-year contract, he could have got a 1-year contract from Minnesota and then became a free agent this offseason and went wherever he wanted to go. If we had told him that we were going to go get a quarterback in the first round, picking as high as we was picking, I wholeheartedly do not believe Kirk Cousins would ever came to Atlanta.
I agree with you, brother. 100%.
All right, so I'm gonna give my opinion on it. Then we'll read some of the comments, and then we'll have a discussion amongst ourselves on the topic at hand. Not quite naturally, yeah, as we all are. I'm a Falcons fan, so there's probably gonna be some bias in how I feel, but I don't feel like the Falcons misled him at all. I felt like the Falcons looked at it as what's gonna be best for the Falcons. As we all would agree, they pay him a good amount of money to come here. Well, paid him a great amount of money to come here, and I don't feel like the Falcons felt like they owed him any kind of explanation on their draft plans. I don't feel like they felt like they owed him that. There was a mention of Kirk, and also the Falcons saying that there was discussion that they were looking at drafting a quarterback in this year's draft. It was either Kirk or his agent said they just didn't think it would be in the first round. So obviously they expressed their desire to get a quarterback in here soon, but I just don't really feel like they owe him any kind of explanation on what they're doing in the draft. Now, if this was somebody like Matt Ryan, who had, been here for forever, you owe it to Matt to have that discussion with him because he's established seniority here. He's done a lot for the franchise. You just owe it. You owe that to your long-term, legendary players to have certain type of discussion with them. But a guy who hasn't taken a snap for you, who's coming in as a free agent at the age of 35 years old, I don't feel like the Atlanta Falcons owed Kirk anything. I don't feel like they misled him. I just feel like for once the Falcons did what they felt what was best for the Falcons, and Kirk being a 12, 13-year veteran, hey, man, you still got a job to do. Go out there and do your job. All right, y'all. So that's my view on it real quick, y'all. Let's read a few comments and then we'll talk amongst ourselves. Because it sounds like all three of us have varying opinions. David Stark says, what does Kirk think he's earned some kind of respect like he's tenured here? And more importantly, when did he become Tom Brady? He was paid handsomely to come here, which I do agree. David also says he's 36 and coming off a major injury. What was he expecting? That's a good point. Red is in the building. What's going on, Red? Says he's out and about in these ATL streets. Hey, man, enjoy yourself out there, brother. Tonio in the building. Our brother Tonio popping in says he can honestly shut up because as long as he got the bag, I'll be on the sidelines with pom-poms. Hey, man, you give me $100 million, bro. I don't even have to dress out. I won't even have to dress out, man. I don't have to dress out. Appreciate that also, Winston. Red says, Cousins cry too much to be a team leader to me. Rodney Ford is in the house. What's up, Rodney? Says, all that don't change the fact that he could always accept the buyout to save us some money. None of that negates the fact that he would still be the quarterback one if he didn't play himself out of position. That's very true. If he didn't, when you say if he didn't play himself out of position, and y'all know, we know Kirk ain't finna get no money back at all. Red says Cousins was never the guy either, just a glorified game manager. Ooh, so Red throwing a few shots at him. Rodney says we also didn't expect Penix to fall to us. That's a very true statement. We didn't know where he would fall, and I think they kind of fell in love with Penix after the fact, based on what they are saying. After that quote unquote private workout where everybody jumped on off the blank jet. Davis has thought they drafted a quarterback in the first round, which tells you you're not long for here. Disclose the injury. You now have 6 months before free agency to heal, and your agent can say 6-3 before the injury. Good point. Ray Ellis is in the house. What's going on with you, Ray? Racist Cousins is going to say all the right things. He's not going to talk himself out of the bag. All right, so I'm saying, y'all, he wasn't misled. So let's go ahead and start and kick off the conversation from that point on. I don't think he was misled, y'all. I think, hey man, they paid the guy some money to do a job. You come here, you do the job, and do the job. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was misled, man. I got to rock with the Falcons on this one.
I can agree. Like I said at the beginning, from my perspective, I can agree on that. Like, and you know, but I will say this: the heads that be the real HNICs don't ever tell the underlings what they're doing to begin with. So, you know, you are absolutely correct. The Falcons as an organization didn't have to tell him nothing of their plans. They didn't, you know, they gave him the bag and said, hey, you want to come play here? Here's the bag. And he chose to play here. So again, I can see that point. I concede to that point. But on the flip side, like I do think, as Winston pointed out, I do think had Kirk Cousins been given all the information, because let's be clear, I don't think the Falcons, like, I think the Falcons played it very close to vest. If they were smart, they had to, because if Curtin didn't come and then Penix was taken, then, you know, we shit out of luck. So I think a little bit of gamesmanship was played on the Falcons' part, but Kurt got the bag. And on top of that, none of this would be a factor if Kurt didn't fall off. Whether you think he was hurt or not, whatever the reason was, his play ended up suffering, so he lost his job. That right there is really the end all be all. Whether he was gamed or they didn't tell him correct information, none of that mattered. He had the job. He didn't perform well, and he got replaced. So, I mean, it's really irrelevant, to be honest with you.
Yeah, very good point. And before we continue the open panel discussion, let's welcome our triple OG in the house, John Harris. How you doing today, sir?
10-time OG.
Big John.
Gentlemen, good to see you. Y'all caught me, man. I was getting ready to go on and do something about the Hawks. I'm glad I peeped in here before I did. But
go ahead, John. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Yeah, what we discussing, John? If you're not up to speed, and I know you probably already discussed this, but we kind of catching up. It's been a while since I did a show. Do you think, John, the Falcons misled Kirk? And we trying our best not to be biased, you know, because Winston and also Coach, you know, they say, yeah, they probably did mislead him a little bit. So what's your thoughts on that, John? Then we're gonna go to James.
In my opinion, if it's not in the contract, there's no misleading. They do not owe Falcons, Vikings, Giants, the other 29 teams do not owe anyone any type of explanation beyond what's in the contract that they signed. They do not. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Kurt bring the Falcons offer back to the Vikings to see whether the Vikings could match it, and the Vikings said no? Did that happen?
I'm not sure. Does anybody know that for sure right offhand? I could try to Google it, but I don't know without Googling it.
I think they offered him basically the same thing without the guarantee, and I think it was for less years. I think it was 1 year but the same amount of money that we gave him for 1 year. I think they offered him 1 year, but like you, I could be mistaken. But I believe that's what I read.
All right, yeah. This I'm gonna read this, John, and then let you keep going. But this is from a quick Google search that says no. The Minnesota Vikings did not match the Atlanta Falcons' offer to Kirk Cousins. While the Vikings did extend an offer, it was not as lucrative or as long-term as the one from Atlanta, leading Cousins to sign with the Falcons. The Vikings ultimately decided to move on and draft a younger quarterback in J.J. McCarthy instead of committing to Cousins long-term. All right, go ahead, John. My bad.
So see now, first of all, was that an AI generated answer?
It was.
Okay.
But it does say this, John, according to NFL.com. So AI pulled this from a NFL.com report from Nick Shook, who works for the NFL.com. So he is a beat writer.
Okay.
I think he's Minnesota's beat writer. I know he's the insider. Right. I know he is an insider, but I think he's their beat writer too.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that about AI, I got burned real bad using some AI. Now I don't know whether it was Apple's AI or Chat GPT, but man, I got burned real bad in a post, and I said, from now on, I'm gonna double and triple check stuff and bounce it against actual documentation. So this is just a warning to everybody: double check your AI. Cause see they got that they got that Food Giant AI, and then they got Kroger AI. They got Walmart AI, and they got Dollar General AI. It's pitiful, man. We have to walk through a minefield as content creators and people who post stuff on here, because see, man, I mean, it can get kind of dicey. But we'll just take that. Okay. How many times have the Atlanta Falcons been used as leverage to get people more lucrative deals? Parcells, Parcells. Various other people have used Atlanta, come to Atlanta, gotten an offer from Atlanta, and then we'll go take that offer and go parlay it with somebody else to get more money. And a lot of times they've been successful. Get the fan base all worked up. Oh, we gonna get so-and-so. Oh, this is the person who's gonna come and all this. And see, that's the very first thing that I thought about when it happened. Taking this report as gospel. Minnesota did not match this offer anywhere in the years or the money. So it was worth him coming here, whether he was going to be the starter, the bench player, the whatever, or not. Now, I'm quite sure that when the Falcons had him in for the interview, they assured him that, hey, you can come in and you can take over this team and we can do this and we can do that, blah, 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 which is exactly what happened. Okay? When you came in, you were QB1. All right? That did not preclude the Falcons from going and getting your replacement. Because what is the duty of every GM, president, team official? Continue to improve the team. That's their job. So if you saw on the shelf up here a Michael Penix, nobody bought that. Hey, give me that. Give me that. I want that right now. Oh, I'm snatching that off the shelf, throwing it in the buggy, running straight to the doggone checkout counter, knocking folk over in the way. Those people sitting up there reading the National Enquirer, y'all got to get out the way. I need to check this out and get out the store right quick. Taking him and running. Now, the hurt feelings and all of this type of stuff, man, look, first thing I'd have told, look here, partner, I did tell you I wasn't going to get your replacement immediately. He's not going to start. He's not going to start. I have to groom him. I have to get him up to speed. So What's the problem?
What's going on, Archangel?
You know what's the problem? Man, and see, like we brought out on our show when we were talking about this, every time now all of this stuff took place on a day by day, hour by hour basis. All of the things that Kirk Cousins was saying, all of the stuff that Raheem Morris was saying, all the stuff that everybody else was saying, it took place because they were around there following them, along with what's his name from Detroit and Burrow. Okay, what has happened? All of this has been condensed into a 7-part series called, "Hey man, I was fast forwarding my behind off. I don't want to know nothing about Joe Burrow. I want to know about Kirk Cousins. I don't hear what you got. I just, I'm hitting." And it's just kicking up. It's just kicking up old feelings for me, and it's making Kirk Cousins, making Kirk Cousins look like man, just keep your mouth shut. And you know what my pet peeve was, Tidy? Well, I don't know if you saw me on Uncle Steve's show, but his wife up there, my husband has been demoted from being the starter and all this. Miss Lady, y'all sitting on $100 and something million new dollars in a multi-million-dollar home, driving 2 Benzes, and you suffering? Come on. But that don't have nothing to do with Kirk Cousins. But I mean, it was just an extra, unnecessary extra kick. That's the thing got me. So that's all I got to say about Kirk Cousins, man. No, misleading. No.
All right. And I want to read this too, John, because this correlates to what you were just saying. This is a direct quote from Kirk Cousins. While it appears the Falcons didn't bring the offer back to Minnesota. Minnesota stood firm on they just wanted to sign him to a 1-year deal. This is a direct quote from Kirk Cousins. He says, "I didn't want to leave Minnesota. There was nothing about anywhere that made me want to leave Minnesota. We wanted to be in Minnesota, but it became clear that we were going to get a year-to-year offer, so 1-year offer, and that's what we did not want. At that point, we said, okay, we need to look somewhere else. If this is our only option, then we'll be back. We'll come back to Minnesota. And when we said, well, we're going to look around, and if there's an opportunity that'll give us a longer offer, would you guys be interested in giving us a longer commitment?" So what he's saying is they talked to the Vikings and said, look, if we can find more than a 1-year offer, would you guys give us a longer offer? The Vikings said, no, we're good with our offer. Good luck. And Kirk says, okay, you made my decision really easy. So
hey, hindsight being 2020 for the Falcons should have done the same thing Minnesota did. Hindsight being 2020. Okay.
And it sounds like with that, John, that a lot of Kirk's desire before he signed with the Falcons was, look, I want to go where the most money is at.
See, all right. Let me play devil advocate on that one, right?
Go ahead.
So, all right. If Kirk Cousins, if I was Kirk Cousins, all right, let's weigh the pros and the cons. All right, I'm already established in their system. I know their system. I know I'm my skill position players. I got rapport with them. All right. Minnesota has a better defense than the Falcons coming into last season. All right. So if I want to play money grab, the better play is to play long. Stay with Minnesota, get to the playoffs, make a little noise or whatever, and then go back and hit them again in free agency this offseason. Kirk took it and came here because his feelings hurt. And then he came here and got his feelings hurt again. That's why Kirk started spazzing out of shit. Well, excuse my friend, but that's why he started spazzing out last offseason because his field was hurt by Minnesota. He wanted more long-term stability and stuff. I get that. I get that, but you got to understand yourself too. You just came off a Achilles injury. Winning organizations do not extend a player that's coming off an Achilles injury to that long of a contract. You get a 1 year prove it, and then we can talk numbers after that. That's what winning organizations do. But I mean, the Falcons gonna Falcon. The Falcons definitely. I mean, it is what it is. The Falcons is a verb now. It's a verb and an adjective. The Falcons are they are going to Falcon. Like I don't know. I get why he came here. I get why he came here, but he got here under different assumptions. I wholeheartedly think that we said that told him, man, hey, look, we are going to go get a quarterback somewhere within these 2 years. But is your job to run with, you got at least 2 years, it's your job to run with. And then very first pick, Michael Penix coming from on the flight from Washington to Georgia. I mean, I don't know. But now, like, he done did so much in the media, who really won him? That's the connection right there. You done so much in the media. Who really won him? It's like the same stuff they sit there and tell you when you're in training camp. You're not auditioning just for this one team. You're auditioning for 31 other teams. Everybody got eyes on you. Everybody got eyes on you. And 31 other teams sat there and seen it. So who really want Kirk Cousins now?
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is cooked. I don't think he'll be a starting quarterback in the league again unless somebody goes down. But I mean, yeah, everything everyone is saying is making sense. I just think again. I mean, it's really kind of irrelevant if they did lie to him, if they didn't, because had his play not fallen off, I mean, this wouldn't even be a discussion. Penix would still be on, even if we went 5-12. I still believe that Kirk Cousins would be our starting quarterback going into this year. So I mean, it's him saying all this it's really irrelevant. You had the job, bruh. Like you had the job. Right? Your play is what. Even if we didn't have Michael Penix behind him, your play would have warranted whatever backup quarterback we had to then get in the game. So, I mean, it's really irrelevant, to be honest with you. I'm starting to be on that side of the fence. Like, at this point, it don't matter if they did lie to you, if they didn't lie to you, if you came here under false pretenses, you had the job. You had the bag. You added too much baking soda, and now you got a weak product. So,
yeah, you make a good point. You make a good point, Coach. Because when you say if his play hadn't went down, you know, he would still have a job. And I really think if you dig deep into it, that's further cement the fact that the Falcons did not want to play Michael Penix. And that's something we're going to talk about later. This is something that me and Winston been talking about, like how long it took the franchise to even turn to their quote-unquote backup. And let's say Michael Penix, let's say they don't draft Michael Penix at number 8 and 8. Let's say they draft a pass rusher. They still going to have a backup, and at some point in that year, they were going to eventually have to turn to that backup, whoever that might be, whether that been Joe Flacco or whoever is back there backing him up. You know, they still going to have to turn to that backup at some point in time. And I'm gonna pass the mic back to you, Winston, and then, but before we do that, let's welcome James in the building. James, what's your thoughts? And we're trying to be objective and put our Falcons bias to the side. In your opinion, James, do you think the Falcons misled Kirk Cousins in this process?
No, it just
A quarterback that's lacking common sense to me. Let me explain. How old Kirk Cousins is?
36, I think.
36,
36
80.
years.
36.
Damn it.
Well, in NFL years, John, he will be 80 years old.
So what does that make John?
I said
Hey,
NFL.
hey, hey, hey. It's a discussion
Oh,
about me.
uh,
Wait a minute. Hold up. It's a
my
discussion about
bad.
me.
I thought I said that. I thought I said that in my head. My bad.
Um,
You
been
got a
in the league,
transmission slippage.
been in the league 13 years. Being he has replaced quarterbacks himself, specifically RG3. Um, how can something be misleading when when you know the situation? You at that time frame, the team was as the team was saying they was a quarterback away, right? So you knew
Mm-hmm.
one way or another they were gonna go full in on the quarterback. Say for instance, they do draft a pass rusher. If you look at this quarterback class this past year, it was only two prominent quarterbacks. Just one guy took it in the fifth round. The quarterback class was weaker this year than last year. So the Falcons had no choice but to go all in at quarterback. I had to sit down and think about that because they had no choice but to go all in at quarterback this year, especially when you have a talent like Michael Penix falling your hand like he did. Ain't nothing misleading about this situation. Hurt just in his feelings.
I don't. I
Uh,
don't think. I don't think anyone negates that where
I'm speaking.
Where Pennis was at and the value of the pick. Anybody negating that? It's it's what happened to get Kirk here.
I agree. I agree with that
See what I'm
to
saying?
a certain extent. I agree with that to a certain extent.
Because like if he knew that because Minnesota literally sat there and told him, "Hey, look, we're going to go get a quarterback. This is happening. This is happening this year. We are going to go get a quarterback." They told him flat out. All right. So if Minnesota sat there and told him flat out, he went look somewhere else for something else. If Atlanta sat there and told him flat out the same thing, hey, look, we're going to go get a quarterback this year, I don't think he would have came. He would have stayed in Minnesota, took the 1 year deal, and then took and went back and be a free agent this year. You got because the salary cap go up. Salary cap done went up, so now you got an opportunity at a bigger bag than what you got last season. If it's all about the money,
My question to you, Winston, are the Falcons required to tell him that though? Like, do you tell a guy that you're at that point just negotiating with? Well, you know, we're gonna try to get a quarterback if we can. Like, I feel like that's a conversation that you have with a guy that's like, and that's why I use Matt Ryan as an example. I feel like the Falcons would have to have that kind of conversation with Matt Ryan, but Kirk Cousins, like, bro, you're a free agent. Like, I don't think the Falcons have to have that conversation with him unless he specifically asks, which nobody has said they did or didn't.
I'm
Especially
pretty sure he
being
did though, because of the situation that happened in Minnesota. Because that was the whole reason why he went looking elsewhere. Minnesota said, "Hey, look, we're going to go get a quarterback. Hey, look, this is what we got for you. We got this 1 year for you. We got this 1 year for you, but we're drafting a quarterback this year. This is what's on the table, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you
no,
negotiated in good faith, if you're negotiating in good faith, then all right, you put the cards on the table. Hey, look, we plan on getting a quarterback early, either this year or next year. See what I'm saying? But this is what we're gonna do for you. We're gonna give you a 4 year deal, but it's only gonna be a 2 year deal, to be honest. We're gonna front load it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get your bag. You're gonna be our guy for the next 2 seasons, even with us drafting a quarterback. Right? All right. So that's why when the draft pick happened, and y'all can quote it, y'all can go look it up. Kirk said, "I did not find out about them going to get a quarterback till the pick was going in, and they called my agent."
Yeah,
See,
I think you
that's
both are.
that's where the misled part come in. Go ahead, Coach.
I think I think you both again. Being that I'm the one on the fence, I think you both are right. I think Toddy, you are absolutely correct. The Falcons don't necessarily need to or have to tell him that, but this is where I believe what Winston says holds value is we absolutely and what James said, we absolutely had to get a quarterback. That there was no if, ands, buts about it. We could not go into the season with Desmond Ritter behind center again. So I believe a little bit of gamesmanship may have happened. Actually, nope. I take that back. I believe the Falcons had all intents and purposes of making Kirk Cousins the guy. I truly believe that wholeheartedly. The monkey wrench comes into play when Michael Penix fell to the Falcons. So I don't think he was misled whatsoever. The Falcons absolutely was going to ride with Kirk Cousins, but when someone drop $1 million in your lap, you ain't gonna say, "Oh no, I can't take it because I already got $1 million." You're gonna pick both million up and go on about your business. You know what I mean? Like it just is an unfortunate situation that we got the quarterback of the future. We're content with sitting him for 2 years behind Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins' play just fell off. That is really the issue. I'm starting to be on your side, Toddy. I don't think
Hey, listen,
they
right?
misled him. I don't think they misled him whatsoever. He was the guy. It's just 1+1 = 2. Penix failed to us, and then his play fell off, and then boom, here we are.
Now let me. Oh, was anybody else getting ready to go?
I was just gonna
Hold
say real
hold on.
quick.
Is y'all hearing grinding?
Say that again.
Huh?
Grinding.
No, I'm
Hearing what?
not.
What's
Hold on.
happening?
Let me leave out. I'll come back in.
All right.
Okay,
So,
James.
so the thing is, though, you got to understand the politics that comes into play when that is the most important position on the team. He is a 13-year pro. I'm not negating the fact that maybe have been misleading. And that may have been misleading to him when they took Penix at 8. But overall, you when you when I'm going in with the plan, I got to have a backup plan as well. And that backup plan came into fruition with Michael Penix. So Kurt just gonna have to take that pacifier out of his mouth and just hand Michael Penix the power. I'll be right there.
Hello. Are we
Did,
having
did,
technical difficulties?
did we lose James?
Yeah.
No, I said I was
Oh.
finished.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Go ahead, John.
Okay.
I'll be right back, y'all. I'm about to make a cup of coffee, but keep going.
If I was an owner, if I was a fan, and I found out that we did not pick up Michael Penix because Kirk Cousins would have been offended, man, I would have fired my general manager, and as a fan, I would have canceled my season ticket. No, sir. Because, see, when you went and got Kirk Cousins and signed Kirk Cousins to this contract, he was the man. Now, the title of the man is not a title that you get and you keep and you sit on your behind and keep the title. You have to continue to earn the title of the man. The number one, the franchise quarterback, the all of that type of stuff. that is not a title or a position that you just get and you just hold on to just because of who you are. You got to continue to prove that you are that person every time you get out there on the football field. Okay? Every time you come to bat, every time you get on the basketball court, every time you do a business deal. You know, and for Kirk Cousins, see, the thing is, what I'm seeing here now, and you know, I've always had this particular point of view, but what I'm seeing here now, I'm looking at a very, very fragile person. I'm looking at somebody that's real fragile, because you got to realize the NFL is a business. Like Jerry Glanville said, and somebody just quoted it, NFL means not for long. You won't have a job long. Matter of fact, your career arc is real short. And you can shorten it by not being available to play. You can shorten it by, you know, getting hurt, unfortunately. You can shorten it by your conduct, whether it be on the field, off the field, whatever it is that you do. And the thing is that these people on all 32 NFL teams during the season and off the season, as part of the football business, they are constantly meeting and discussing. And good football teams are continuing to try to improve the product. Okay? Now, like I said, if I'm in the store and I see a Kirk Cousins, I'm shopping for quarterbacks and I'm looking on the shelf in the quarterback section and I see Kirk Cousins, if I see Michael Penix up there on the shelf and nobody got it, oh, I'm grabbing him and I'm getting out the store, paying what it is I need to pay for $9.95. Oh, hell yeah. Look, get him. Let's go. You know, I got to do that. Now, I know that quarterback is the premier position in the NFL, you know, or the premier position in sports. But you got to look at it the same way you do any other position. Do you hear running backs? And, you know, running backs might get asked, well, how do you feel about them drafting this person or that person or whatever, depending upon their prominence to the team. But the little old wide receiver, defensive end, cornerback, linebacker, when you go get another linebacker, you draft a linebacker from, you know, Chugga Suds University and bring him in. Do those linebackers have that kind of ego? Oh, why didn't you tell me about this? No, they don't, because they realize that this is a business and it is constantly driven into their heads that it is a business. Now, there is another dynamic that I am not going to say what it is, but I'm going to allude to what that dynamic is about what's going on, because it just seems as though that there's a little bit of something happening here that I really don't want to say anything about, but you know, the more all of this crying that was going on about getting quote unquote demoted and certain things happening, I just, you know, it just makes me think that there's an undertone of something, and I'm gonna leave that way it is.
I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from, John. I don't think that, like, looking at Kurt. Okay, so first things first, we got to get this out the way. Everyone should understand that personality-wise, Kirk Cousins is very beta. Meaning, like, I mean, his wife dresses him like somebody got a hell of an echo. His wife dresses. Go ahead.
Just 1 second, Coach. Ty, drop the link back in the chat.
Okay.
I think Winston went to his laptop. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No worries. I was just saying, he's very beta. So all of this screams, feminine essence, for lack of a better word. Like he's crying like a female. If I could just go ahead and put it that way. So I don't think, like, I get what you're saying, John, but I don't think that undertone is that. I think it's the feminine side of him that kind of makes you think that, because I know exactly what you're saying. Um, but again, like I don't. The question is, did the Falcons mislead him? And the Michael Penix stuff happened after he was signed. So even taking Michael Penix completely out of the equation, I just don't. I'm starting to come around to. I don't think the Falcons necessarily misled him. I think that he was, for all intents and purposes, he was going to be the guy. He just fell off. And I mean, even if Desmond Ridder was still on the team, I think they would have benched him and put Desmond Ridder in the game. Like, it is simply that bad. It doesn't matter who was back there. Like, I could have been back there in the quarterback room, and his play been the same and got in the game. Like, I don't think any of that matters as much, because you're regardless, or if they lied to you or not, or if they sold you a magical bean, your play still didn't hold up to par. So
I agree with you, Coach. I 100% agree with you. Before we go to our next topic, let's welcome Ron in here, and I think we got Red in here also. Ron and Red, welcome, man. What's your gentleman's opinion on that? Did the Falcons pull a weasel move on Kirk Cousins and mislead him? What are y'all thoughts?
I just think Kirk Cousins in his feelings right now.
Hold on, y'all. We got a bad echo for somebody.
yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins.
Testing.
It's not me. I've been on mute the whole time.
Yeah, I just muted my mic too.
Red.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's one of the two that just jumped in because it just started.
Go ahead, Ron.
I think Kirk Cousins in his feelings right now, because he know if he would have got injured, he would not see the field no more. He know Michael Penix to sling that ball, so he trying to find a way so he to be the good guy. What they saying, he to be the good guy, and he was trying to find a way to get off the team, in my opinion, because he know Michael Penix will come in and show out like he did in those 3 games. So at the end of the season, I don't think we owe him anything. If it was that bad, why he signed the contract? You see what I'm saying? If he thought like that, why he signed that contract? I just think he got in his feelings, like y'all been saying. In my opinion.
I don't think everything was readily apparent. Just me. That's just me. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, our offense was already set. Our offense was already set before Kirk got it. The missing pieces was Rondell Moore and Ray McLeod. They came in after Kirk.
But outside of that, the rest of our offense is already set. But it's young talent. That young talent got to grow. All right. Minnesota already got established talent. You got Justin Jefferson, and you had Aaron Jones over there in the running back position. Like, if it's about the bread, the more heads off play would have been take the 1 year, prove yourself to the rest of the league, and then get back in the free agents. Then you get the 2 year deal. So instead of getting $100 million guaranteed, you might have got $140 guaranteed or something, $130 guaranteed. See what I'm saying? That would have been the more fiscally responsible move for Kirk if it was about the money. I don't think he told him that we were going to go get a quarterback, we looking to the future or whatever, but they didn't tell him, hey, we're going to go get a quarterback with this first pick. So for all that, that's the exact same thing that Minnesota did.
Right.
Their first pick was J.J. McCarthy. If that was the case, he could have stayed there. You're not uprooting just to get back close to your wife's parents. Because you ain't got that much longer in the league anyway. So you can go home whenever you're ready to go home when you're ready to hang it up. At best, well, before last season, I would have gave Kirk maybe 3 more years. 4 being generous. Now, it's likely that Kirk might mess around and retire fast. He could. Or he could be somebody backup. But he'll never start again. The only way he'll start is whoever's ahead of him go down. He can run around and be like a journeyman like Flacco. But I think Kirk got too much pride in himself to take the Flacco road at this point. I don't think it's gonna happen.
All right, y'all. And with that said, let's transition to our next topic, which actually falls right in line with this one. And Winston, since you're already talking, I'll let you lead us into this. This is something me and Winston have been discussing probably within the last few weeks. But the topic would be, speaking of Kirk Cousins, Raheem, and also, benching him and Michael Penix, should Raheem Morris have benched Kirk Cousins earlier in the season? Again, I'll let you kick this off, Winston, and also when you make your explanation before you're done, tell us ideally which game should he have been benched.
All right. So, me personally, I think that Penix should have got him into the game early. All right. So, let's see. October ended. Kirk goes on the losing streak. All right. You had 2 bad games before the bye week. All right. You come out of the bye week and still have a bad game. That game after the bye week, that was what, week 12?
13 Chargers.
There was Chargers? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Either way, after the Charger game, that should have went to the bench. That should have been it. That should have been it from Kirk Cousins. Because when you put Penix in for the last 3 games and your playoff hopes is on the line, you don't want that for your rookie quarterback. Now, if he played the entire season, if he had played the entire season up to that point, and the playoff is on the line, all right, he's already in his mode. He's already adjusting to the speed of the game and stuff. You bring him fresh off the bench to try to save your season. Like, nah, that's doing a disservice on Penix. And if you, like, any player, I don't care what sport it is, you can play better in your 5th game than what your 3rd game is. Like, that's just natural progression. If I'm just coming in if the game's on, like, all right, if Penix was playing for Carolina, this season has been over, or Chicago, this season has been over. All right, so it's not in the game. You're just getting reps, you're getting experience and stuff. You're gaining. But when the season is on the line, I'm gonna drop you in here for the last 3 games. Go save the season. Like, that's doing a disservice to the quarterback. That's a major disservice to the quarterback. It just so happened that Penix mentally was strong enough to sit there and take it and run with it and try his best. Now I expect bigger strides out of him this season, but he should have got in there and played the last 5 games of the season instead of the last 3. That's just my take.
All right, I'm gonna give my point of view, and then the rest of y'all feel free to jump in. The reason I disagree about benching him the Chargers game is because technically you would be benching him after only 2 bad games. The Saints game, I mean, he went lights out, but to me that wasn't a trash, bad, or horrible game for Kirk. I think he had a little bit over 300 yards, no touchdown passes, but I wouldn't consider that a bad enough game that you bench him at that point. And also, you know, as me and you was discussing, Winston, you got that money factor in there also with the type of money that he was making. And I'll add on to the fact that if I'm the coach, I really would prefer not to bring Penix in on the road against a very, very, very good Minnesota team who were playing very good football, if memory serves me correctly, on the road. So, you know, I would have rolled with Kirk too. You know, you can make the argument that you could have benched him after that Minnesota game. And if that's the case, then we just pulling straws because, you know, we're just saying one game over the other. But again, I don't think you bench him after 2 bad games if we're gonna bench him that Chargers game, in my opinions. But that's my thoughts on it. You know, we'll continue to talk about that. When do y'all think would have been a better time outside of what me and Winston think?
So I went on record. I don't remember if it was Waffle House or Eye Test, and I was making the argument that it would be utterly stupid to bench Kirk Cousins and play your starting quarterback at any point in last season. For the basically what you said, Tidy, the money factor alone would have dictated that you ride with Kirk till the wheels fall off. At least last season. On top of that, Kirktober had just happened. I mean, the man was playing lights out. He had 1 bad game. Okay, 2 bad games. Okay, go by, come back, 3 bad games. At this point, you're hoping that your star quarterback, who you just gave millions, and whether anyone thinks he's a star or not, clearly the Falcons did because they paid him what they paid him. So your star quarterback just had an amazing month of football. Now is kind of struggling a little bit. You absolutely, well, let me hold on. You don't owe it to him, but you, as a coach, you kind of want to balance, let him fight himself out of that hole versus giving up. Because had you given up on him in the game that Winston is talking about, and Penix comes in and just absolutely stinks up the joint, now you got to explain to Arthur Blank why you have his $1 million quarterback sitting on the bench and playing the rookie who is clearly not ready for the game. You know, hindsight is 20/20. At the time, I am one of those people who thought that Penix should have never gotten in. So you got to let your quarterback or your star player, or, you know, battle out their slumps, because everybody has a slump regardless on who we talking about. Tom Brady has had a slump. Patrick Mahomes, like whoever the great is you want to talk about, everybody has slumps, and so you kind of got to let them fight through it. So that's where I was last year, and I mean, you know, hindsight 20/20, I was wrong, but at the time, I mean, I just couldn't fathom you benching him for a rookie.
Hey, Coach, let me push back on that real quick, because earlier you just said even if you was the backup quarterback, you would have got on the field because it was warranted by Kirk Cousins' play.
Right.
All right. So,
but again, this is hindsight, though, bro. I'm saying that after we know what has gone down. At the time, we don't know that each game he's going to stink it up. You see what I'm saying?
They had a five game sample size.
4 games. 4 games.
5 because he won the last one.
Are you saying 5 games that Kurt was just playing terrible football?
Yeah, he won his last one against Vegas. And then Dennis came in the game after that. Kurt won. He lost 4 in a row, and he won his last one.
Well, the reason I'm saying 4 to go back to what I was saying at first. I won't consider the Saints game just a trash game for him. You know, he went sharp as we're normally used to him being, but you know, again, he did have over 300 yards. And if y'all boy Young way cool don't do what he did, that's a game we should have won. So I'm gonna say 4 games.
All right, let's go with 4 games. Then. All right. Even with that, you are the leader of the offense. What is the offense job?
Score points.
Okay. And the best teams do what? They play what? Complementary football. All right. Where's the complementary to it? Because your quarterback, it's not about the unit playing bad. It's about a specific person playing bad, holding back everybody else. That's why Coach said before we got into the segment. Even if I was a backup quarterback, I would have got on the field because he was playing that bad. His play warranted him going to the bench. So now we got to pick up and find out where exactly Penix should have been inserted. So we all come to agreement that his play was bad enough for Penix to get in the game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So now we splitting hairs trying to find out which game Penix should have got in. I think personally, Penix should have got in early. So that way, when we came to those last 3 games, they were all winnable games. We had a chance to change the outcome instead of having the outcome that we had, him going 1-2.
Okay, if we taking it like that, then okay, you making valid points. I thought we were talking, you know, speaking as the season was going on, but I'm looking at it hindsight. If we're saying, yeah, he played bad, so when should he have been inserted? Okay, I will concede your fact. And yeah, the game he probably got in was probably right around the best time to insert him.
Say the same because you got to think about it, we were still fighting for the playoffs at that point.
Right.
And within those 2 games beforehand, if Michael Penix comes in and win those 2 games, then overall we still in good shape, even though we had a fumble in that Washington and that Carolina game. You see what I mean? So around about the time Winston is saying would have been perfect for Penix to come in, that was around about the time that I was saying on the Waffle House that we need to start looking at quarterback, changing the quarterback at that time. It was me and John at that time saying that we need to make the change at the quarterback position because of that.
Yeah.
See, I'm my stomach's starting to bubble all over again. And the reason why is that if I'm remembering what the quarterback series and the things that Kirk Cousins was saying at the time, he said his arm was dead. Isn't that what he said? That he said himself, my arm dead. At that time, I can't put any touch on the body. The body wants the mind wants to do certain things, but the body can't. This is all that he was saying, and he was saying that as recorded back then. All right. Now, then he was on the injured list and took his name off the injured list. You hurt, man. Don't you think you owe it to your coaches? Don't you think you owe it to your to Raheem and everybody else to let them know what condition that you are in as soon as you know, because you know they were asking him. Okay, they examine him, they asking him, hey, what's going on? What's going on? So that some type of decision could be made at the time that you said that, as early as possible now, so that something else could be done. All right. Adjust the playbook. All right. Adjust your throws. Make it where you could do what you could do. Something to save the season and save you. Because do you know what type of damage you could have done to yourself forcing throws downfield with all that torque on your arm and on your elbow and on your shoulder? Because that's what got hurt in New Orleans. Because see, the thing is, you know, the way that he was playing in New Orleans and for the subsequent 4 games after that, it was just like that old car in the cartoon that's halfway running. He sputtered his way all the way until a decision had to be made about his play. And because of that, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying about this. It was ego, it was pride, it was putting yourself in front of the team because of the fact that you didn't reveal just how bad you felt. You know, because now if you look at Kirk Cousins' facial expression, that grit teeth smile, that grit teeth expression, I mean, he just like that emoji with the grit teeth on it all the time. Because you can't tell whether he's hurting, you can't tell whether he's happy, you can't tell anything. You know, and see, I blame the coaches too, because I say, now look, even though you can't reveal private medical information, or that he doesn't have to reveal private medical information to you, put that joker through some workouts, put that joker through some situations to make him test to see whether he's okay or not. That's what I'm thinking. He is sitting here in the chair. Because look at what eventually happened. Because see, the thing is, okay, you could have put Penix in there, and Penix could have been a bust. Okay, Penix could have been proven that he wasn't ready. All right, but you at least owe your team doing that or taking that chance because of the fact that you can't function. I mean, things that we were seeing, things that we were complaining about in the film section, those things manifested themselves in those 4 games. And I mean, you can point, just like Coach said, you can point directly at what Coach and Winston said, you can point directly to one person as being the reason why we didn't make it. One person. You, the leader of the team. Okay, even if you needed to you need a first down, you run and slide for a first down. Okay, you do that. You do that. And you know, I see what Raymond put up there. It might have been a blessing in disguise, but did you know? Does common wisdom tell you to do what you did? Yeah, you know, things you know, going to work out one way or another. But I mean, common sense, man. You hurting the team by being out there hurt. And Winston just posted something about Russell Westbrook in the NBA last year. I just happened to spot this, so I was looking for something. Now, Russell Westbrook played with a damn broke hand for most of the season. Now, think back when Russell Westbrook was shooting. during the year when Russell Westbrook, now he never has been a real good shooter, in my opinion. But this joker couldn't hit the ocean with a boat. So you out there playing hurt. Coaches out there letting you go out there playing hurt. And you know when you playing basketball, if you got a shot, you gonna take it. And that's exactly what the man did. So I'm looking at these two situations, and they're kind of tracking as far as I'm concerned, because you hurt the team by not telling the truth, by not being truthful. I was about to say with yourself, but not being truthful with the coaching staff. You know, come on, man. Woo. I'm sorry. I know I went long, but man, woo.
So it sounds like we're a little split amongst the panel on exactly when he should have been when he should have been bitched by Raheem Morris.
Yeah, well, if he, now, as far as I'm concerned, if he had told the truth, you throw it on Raheem as to what type of decision you want to make. Okay, but since you didn't tell the truth, that's on you, Kirk Cousins. And it could have been right after the doggone New Orleans game. It could have been right after New Orleans game when you got hurt in New Orleans game. In the middle of the doggone New Orleans game. Okay, could have been then, because the injury just happened. The injury just happened. You know, or at the end of the New Orleans game, you know, kind of like after a car accident, you know, you go and you sleep on it, and then you wake up the next morning. Oh man, you know, just like I've been, you know, beat up or whatever. Okay, something of that nature. But you know,
yeah,
all you had to do was tell the truth.
Exactly. And to your point, John, if you were just being transparent with the team and letting them know, hey man, I need about 1 to 3 weeks to heal and get the shoulder right. This whole conundrum, it never takes place, man. You know, never takes place.
He was scared to death of that live arm thing, man.
Who echoing? Somebody echoing.
Coach, I think that's you with the echo, because I saw everybody else had their mic muted.
I don't know, but I'll mute it. Hold on.
I said, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you fine. You perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was coaching. Yeah, he was scared. He was scared to death of that live arm. Like when I went to the Washington game, where they was warming up right in front of them, right? Like you could noticeably see the difference in arm. And I'm talking about like with the effortless throw. I'm talking about like 10, 15-yard throw. You can noticeably see it. It like when Kirk threw it, Kirk looked like he was sitting there trying to throw somebody going in the home base from the outfield. They would have looked like. And Pennis was literally just like moving his hand, and the ball was just jumping.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. But I mean that's just that literally is probably the smallest component of being a quarterback, because as you know, as effortlessly as he throw down the field, we seen what happened when he tried to throw 10 yards with the game on the line. So I mean that really means nothing. I just think you had to give that man time to try and get about that funk.
All right, if we were the team that just went to the playoff last year or the year beforehand or whatever, all right, that's something different. There's something different. When you go to a team that haven't seen the playoff in the past 6 years and you have the opportunity of getting there, you got to do what's best for the team. You got to do what's best for the team. Period. Like, there's no getting around that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, hindsight is 2020. Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows what the situation? Who knows if Kurt had played the Redskins game, we'd have won it.
Nah, we wouldn't.
Nah, we wouldn't have won it.
Well,
you don't know that. You don't know that.
I literally said
now, see, the reason
Kirk could not throw the ball past like 28 yards without it ducktailing, and this was in warm-up without the pads on. Kirk could not throw the ball past 28 yards, and it was
okay.
So there's no way in hell. I'm sorry.
You don't know. I hear you, but you don't know that.
Coach, this is what I'm saying, Coach. If he had something wrong with his arm, instead of them requiring him to throw long, if he had been transparent about how bad his arm was or what was going on, they could have adjusted the game plan for him to where he wasn't throwing deep like that. Okay?
Absolutely, John. That's my point. That's literally my point. We don't. Hindsight is 2020. We can say this now, but you do not. No one in here is a fortune teller and can tell me they knew we would have lost with Kirk Cousins. You don't know that.
No. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say that. My only point was about the change of quarterback and the necessity of the change of quarterback. That's all I'm addressing. Because see, like I said, even if you had stuck Michael Penix in there, Michael Penix could have not been as ready as he showed he was going in.
I mean, I would argue that he wasn't ready because he one play he could have made, we could have possibly won the game. So, I mean,
and see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Michael Penix going in earlier would have guaranteed the win of 4 games. But transparency by the quarterback as to how injured he was, things could have been mitigated in his favor because of adjusting the game plan to what he could do. Because I remember, hey Toddy, now I don't know whether you remember this or not. You remember when Bobby Hebert was here? Bobby Hebert couldn't throw because he had an elbow issue. Okay, he couldn't throw deep down the field. So what they did, they adjusted the game plan to crossing routes 5-10 yards off the line of scrimmage because of Bobby Hebert. Because Bobby Hebert played hurt for a long time when he was here. So okay, now that the coach knew that, and there were no other quarterbacks. Well, they had a quarterback back there, but they didn't want to put him in. All right, you adjust the game plan to what your quarterback can now do. Now, and you get the doctor's opinion. Okay, is this going to damage his arm even more doing this? Okay, if it is, you got to make some decisions. It might cost you the rest of the season. All right, it might cost you the rest of the season. But you got to make some decisions as to what it is that you need to do next. The Falcons were not afforded that opportunity because of the fact that the quarterback was not honest with them about how injured he was or how he was feeling.
And let me say this. At the time frame, if you look at that time frame, the Falcons was number 1 within the division. They played most of their division games at the time frame and was sitting number 1 faithfully for that position for a long while, all the way up to week 17 and 18. You can't tell me at that time frame when Kurt was messing up that Michael Penix can have came in and did what he had to get them games won. If you look at that Chargers game directly, when Raheem took over that defense during that certain stretch of time, when that defense was playing better, only thing Michael Penix would probably had to do in the situation was to be a game manager and just get us out with a victory.
Brother,
hold on. So my thing is, it was warranted after that Chargers game and how that Chargers game played out that he needed to be pulled, he needed to pull it out, and we needed to go with Michael Penix because our playoffs was basically still on the line at that point when we was going into that losing streak.
But James, this is what I'm saying. Y'all keep speaking in absolutes when that is just not the case. You just you just said that you think that Penix could have came in and did better than Kirk Cousins when he was in the game and literally didn't do it. So that's why I keep saying that's why I keep having the problem with we can't say
ahead, Coach.
Coach,
you
good. Well, we can't say now. If you said you think that he could have played better, all right, I would agree with that. But to say that he would have is crazy because he was in the game and he didn't. Like, he didn't get it done, regardless on who, what you want to say. He didn't get it done, which effectively put us out of the playoffs. So, I mean, okay, maybe putting him in would have got a different result, but we'll never know because it didn't happen. But what I do know is when he got the reins. Again, I understand he's a rookie and Kirk Cousins is a veteran. I'm only bringing it up in the aspect of people keep saying things would have been different. And my only reply to that is when he did get in the game, it wasn't different. We lost. So that's all I'm saying with that. That's it.
Within those 3 games, he still did his job at the end of the day. Of course,
Yeah,
people.
right. He did. All right, go ahead.
Michael Penix did his job within those 3 games. Was there some throws that he could have made that would have been better? Of course. The quarterback goes through that. But we got to factor in the other factors of the game or why we lost, because for the simple fact it was, towards the end, when Raheem gave the reins back to whatever his name is, I forgot him already. But gave it back in the reins, the
Late.
defense wasn't. Yeah, late. Gave it back to late. At hand, they wasn't doing their job, to be honest with you. The defense was horrendous. So we have to look at other aspects. But when Michael Penix got the opportunity and the chance, he did what he had to do. He did his job. He put us in positions to win the game within those 3 games. And it just didn't fall through in the Washington game. It just didn't fall through in the Carolina game because it was other factors besides him that was in the middle.
Oh, okay. I mean, we will just agree to disagree because I would then come back and say the same thing for Kirk. Now, I'm not saying Kirk should have been playing. I agree with you guys. It was time to put in Michael Penix. All I'm saying is the notion that anything would have been different is crazy to me because we don't know. And from actual evidence, there wasn't a difference. So that's what I'm saying.
All right, so I think what coaches are saying is, well, let me just give y'all, I'm sure y'all know him, but the New York Giants game with Michael Penix, he was 18 for 27, 202 passing yards. He completed 66% of his passes, no interceptions. No touchdowns, 1 interception. The following week against the Commanders, he was 19 for 35, 223 yards, 54% completion percentage, 1 TD, 1 interception. Final game of the season against Carolina, where we embarrassed ourselves. He was 21 for 38, 312 yards, completed 55% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the highest rating that he had was the Carolina game, where he was rated 89. So those were his stats. And I know stats don't tell the whole story, but those are the numbers he put up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And that's literally all I'm saying, people. For y'all have a aneurysm in the comments because I'm sure y'all going nuts.
Well, and there were some plays in the game that weren't Michael Penix's fault. Well, during those games that he was in, there were some plays that weren't his fault, some situations, but like I said, and I agree with Coach. There's no telling. I would have. As far as the question, man, I know I'm just backtracking. But as far as the question was concerned, what game to put him in, whatever game it was, that at the earliest you would have known the true extent of how injured Kirk Cousins was. Okay, that's where. That's where you have to have all of the facts, all of the situations, so that you can make an educated decision as to what you want to do. Because, gentlemen, just look at it. Raheem Morris is flying blind because he doesn't have all the facts that have just been revealed to us. Okay, it was revealed in January when the man opened his mouth. Now, after this quarterback documentary comes on, even more is being revealed. Kirk Cousins sat up there and said it himself out of his own mouth. Then he said something else about it. It's like, oh, the Achilles is fine, but my ankle, why you ain't told nobody? I mean, my Achilles fine, but my ankle weak. Okay, now isn't the Achilles attached down there near the ankle area of your foot so that you should be able to know whether it's working right or not, son?
Yeah.
Don't you think that is something important that you need to let people know about? Woo! I mean. No, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
Shoot the moon, John. Shoot the moon.
No, I'm gonna tie this broadcast. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna do that. Hey, if the FC, I don't want Tidy jumping on me because the FCC said that I said something on his broadcast. Now I say it on mine, and I'll just take whatever slinging arrows that come. But man, this is just inexcusable, man. Seriously. Looking back at this with all the revelations that we have here now, selfishness, okay, not being a team player, lying, withholding information, vital information, in order for your boss to be able to make a decision as to what he wants to do, all because of you, your ego. And I'm sorry, I got to go back to his wife. my husband is no longer. And then talking with Andy Dalton about how it feels to be. What? Go on to something here.
Yeah, the conversation with Andy Dalton really told the truth about how he was playing. But let's go ahead and we'll jump y'all to our next topic. And this is, do the Atlanta Falcons fans overrate Deion Sanders? We're gonna actually let Coach start off with this because Coach told me one day, and me and him went back for the whole day about this, y'all. So I want to get everybody's opinion. Coach said Atlanta Falcons fans and community are the only segment of people who have Deion Sanders as the number one corner in the NFL. And me and him just went back for hours about that because I wholeheartedly disagree. But Coach, I'm gonna let you start off. Explain your stance.
Okay, first, before we go any further, I have to get each and every person's. If you can make it quick, just give me a brief meaning on what criteria you use or think should be used to rank someone's greatness. So the question is, what metrics do you use to rank someone's greatness? If each person could just answer that real quick for me, then I can really go into my spiel.
All right, so we'll go around the panel real quick. John, go ahead.
I don't see. So he got me thinking about this. Cause the thing is that I don't get into those types of conversations.
Okay.
I really don't, because people try to make Mount Rushmores, which is limited to 4, and then you say the greatest of all time and all this type of stuff.
Okay, your answer could be 9. It could be 9.
But see, the thing is, after you say what you're going to say, I know I'm going to have something to say about it. And see, the thing is, I don't want to seem hypocritical as far as this is concerned. Hey, you made me think about something that I'm going to have to devalue the Hall of Fame now, Coach.
All right, Toddy, what you got? What are your criteria for someone to be considered great?
What they did on the field during their time playing in their era, their resume, their accomplishments, and how they were viewed within the football community at the time, and more importantly, how their peers viewed them at the time. So that would be my criteria.
Okay. Just to break that down real quick, just so I have an understanding, would you say what they did on the field? Do you mean stats?
Stats and also their gameplay. Stats and also their
Okay.
gameplay. Both
Okay.
of them.
All right, Winston, what's your criteria? What do you use as criteria to deem someone great?
Hold on, we talking about any player, or we talking specifically?
No, what metrics do you use to say a player in any sport? It doesn't even have to be football. What are your metrics to consider in someone in your eyes a great to Hall of Fame to GOAT level? What metrics do you use?
I would say though to stick to football on that question, because you may view baseball and basketball and soccer totally different than you do football.
Yeah, but it will still be the same thought process, and to consider them great, something has to some metric has to be utilized in order for you to consider someone great. So,
Right.
but yeah, okay, we'll stick to football. What
All right.
metric do you use that consider someone great?
What they did on the field, their impact on the game, their impact on the culture, their impact on winning, technique, ability and technique are two entirely different things.
Okay.
That where a lot of people get crossed up at.
Okay. Now, you said the same thing Toddy said. What do you mean? Just extrapolate it for me. What do you mean by on his play on the field? What metric goes into his play on the field?
Now you gotta
What
go
stat? Would that be stats? What would that be?
see, now you gotta go by position.
No, man, you ain't gotta go by position. Oh, okay.
You can be a lockdown corner and have no stat. The referee did it.
Winston, that's
That's why I said
exactly what I was trying to tell Coach. But my bad, go ahead.
You have to go by position, and then by position you got to go by the actual tape, not reading the box score. Because reading the box score is only going to tell you something. It's only going to tell you something. It's not going to tell you the entire impact of the game. Like, all right,
Okay.
if I'm a corner and I'm a lockdown corner, the quarterback's not gonna throw at me. So my overall PBU are gonna be way less than somebody else's because I'm not getting the opportunities that somebody else does.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not gonna go deep into it right now because I want to get into my point. Sure, that's a point, but at the same time, that's if you're in man to man 100% of the time, and no one is man to man 100% of the time. So again, that's what I'm asking about the metrics on the field.
You're more man than what you're doing zone and stuff. That's a lot. That's a given. That is a given. If I am a lockdown corner, I'm taking away this side of the field. Y'all do whatever the hell else y'all want to do with the other 2/3. This side of the field is me.
Okay. All right, James. What is your criteria for what do you consider someone great?
Just like Tony and Winston said, the measurements on the field.
And that would be
It could be a variety of things. Because I could take like a soft, like I'm gonna use Winston point. I could take like a soft corner that's a shutdown corner that doesn't have many interceptions. But the accolades and what he do on that field showed.
okay. All right. So there's a reason why I asked this question. Now I can get into my spiel. Okay. I feel like people are bugging with these answers. Yeah, the play on the field matters. Yeah, these things and these things matter. But Hall of Fame uses a specific set of metrics when they evaluate someone for the Hall of Fame. The number one thing that they are going to use that no one said, which is blows my mind, is stats. Like I hear you say, I hear people that say stats don't tell the whole story, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right. But stats make a huge part of the overall objective thought on a player's play in any given sport. It is the stats. I mean, you can't get past it. You can't get beyond it. It don't tell the whole story, but it is the most heavily weighed thing about a player's career. So that's one. Two, I agree. The play on the field, the tape, the culture, all of that is secondary. I absolutely agree with you. What I was saying to Tidy was, I feel like the Atlanta Falcons fans put Deion Sanders in this god tier of football players that his play simply did not meet up to. Was he great? Yes. Was he a Hall of Famer? Yes. But in his position, he was never the best at any one stat, which is delegated to his specific position. So if you think about running backs, what is the main stat a running back that is going to tell you a running back was a good running back or not? It's going to be his yards that he got while running. Why? Because that is identical to a running back. That is what a running back does. They run the ball. So on this level, what is going to tell you the story, generally, not the whole story, but generally the story of a cornerback in the NFL? His interceptions, his pass deflections, his INTs for touchdowns, tackles, like all those are generally the metrics you would use to consider someone a great player. All the rest of it that encompass it is true, is a valid point, but you are generally going to use those metrics when evaluating a player for said greatness. And what I was saying was, and again, let me preface this first by saying Deion is the reason I'm a Falcons fan. I am not at all hating on Deion. I love Deion. He brought me to the greatest sports franchise, in my opinion, on earth, which is the Atlanta Falcons. I love Deion, but I am under no delusions that Deion is the greatest thing that has ever happened to the defensive cornerback position, because it's simply not true. He doesn't have he doesn't have the most INTs. He don't have the most interceptions returned. He don't have the most pass deflections. Like, is he great? Yes, but there are other players who play his position who also were quote unquote lockdown corners who still have those stats at number one that he does not. That has been my whole point. Did quarterbacks look away from both of the Woodsons? Absolutely. Do both of the Woodsons considered lockdown? Absolutely. Okay, so if both of those guys are considered lockdowns, quarterbacks didn't want to throw at them, how is it that they still got more INTs, more INT touchdowns than the quote unquote GOAT, who is also a lockdown, but it doesn't add up to what they did? That has been my whole point. I feel like Falcons fans put him up on this pedestal that he not trash, but they put him up on this pedestal that his play simply does not rise to. And that's my point.
See, now I got to push back on that because I'm a cornerback by nature. All that other shit goes out the window. Everything you said goes out the window. If I'm locking stuff up, I am locking it up. I'm not gonna have all these gaudy stats. See, a cornerback that have a whole bunch of stats, That's because they feel that you are a weakness only team. They're trying.
That is not true. That is simply not true. You can only be a lockdown corner, Winston, and man, you can't be locked down in the zone because you don't know who's gonna come in your zone. Like that's what I'm saying. What are we talking about?
In the zone, when you are playing the zone as a corner, you're locked down. Whatever comes into your zone, if you sit there and break on it, or they do not try you, you're still a lockdown corner.
But what I'm saying is they're only throwing at you in a man-to-man situation. In a zone situation, they're throwing to a quadrant. Can you get to that quadrant and lock it down? That's the difference.
What do you think about AJ Terrell?
I think AJ Terrell is a good cornerback.
Why?
Because more often than not, the person he's covering, the zone that he's in, the person is not catching the ball.
That's a lockdown corner.
But that is a stat. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. That is a stat.
I looked up AJ Terrell coverage rate, right? AJ Terrell coverage rate is quite effective with a low target rate. That'll be the first thing they pointed out. A low target rate. Because people are not trying you like that because they know what's going to happen. High rate of force and tight window throw and a low percentage of open targets allowed. That's Deion. That's literally Deion.
Okay, so you're saying
hey, let me add, now look at this comment that Armani just made right here. Now look at that comment right there. Now, is what he's saying true? Because see, I want to see how that factors into you guys' argument.
Yes, that's true.
What? He clearly missed.
Corner and man corner. Yes.
Well, he asking me because I said it. He clearly missed the second part of what I said, John. I said they are throwing it directly at you. In zone, they are throwing to a zone. So it's more difficult to be a lockdown in a zone because you have to cover the whole entire zone. So a great example of that is Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman was terrible at man, but he was better as a zone defender. That's what I'm saying by when I made the inference to lockdown. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, but that is absolutely true for sure.
So does that change our? Okay, now I'm getting ready to jump in here now. Okay, now coach. Now I went and took a short scan, and this is not to derail anybody's point. I just wanna say this, but Fox Sports has Deion as number 1. Clutch Sports has Deion as number 2. Pro Football Reference has him as number 3. Sideline Shuffle, and I'm starting to go into the weeds now. I'm starting to go to Chat GPT now. But
right, which is what was my point to Tidy? But go ahead.
Okay, and Sports Now got him at number 1. Bleacher Report got him as number 4. Now, all of the other ones except Bleacher Report have Woodson and Mel
which most do. Yeah, which most do.
Brown. Now,
Woodson is my favorite corner.
Now, this is the thing. The criteria and metrics, as I was reading over their justifications for their rankings, they all differ.
Which is why I asked the question, John. That's exactly why I asked.
Okay. And since it is like that, Coach, you use 2 terms that sound similar but are completely different. Greatness and greatest.
It's time to check your phone real quick, Todd.
Right. Because Because John, there's a reason why. Because you can be great and not the greatest. That has been my point. But go ahead, continue to cook.
And see, the thing is that okay. I'm I'm remembering things now about Deion Sanders. Because see, now that's part of the reason that I didn't really answer your question as far as the metrics and things were concerned, because I had to start remembering stuff about Deion Sanders. And I'm one of those Falcons fans that think that Deion Sanders was one of the greatest cornerbacks to play the game. I cannot say, and I do not get in the greatest or GOAT conversations, because things can change. I'm remembering Deion Sanders and what was his name? Tim McKay playing together out there on the field. Deion Sanders would sacrifice his man or his zone to go help on the other side of the field. See, I remember Deion Sanders covering over for weaknesses in his other in the other cornerback. And I'm almost tempted to say that Bobby Butler was one of those folks, the perennial burn victim, was one of those folks that Deion used to cover over. Now, in addition, just and you know, I don't know what the stat is, I don't know what the ratio is, but Deion Sanders was as, I'm just gonna say, electric as Michael Vick was out on the football field. Deion get an interception, Deion get a punt return, and see that's another. Well, it's not the cornerback position, but it's adding to the legacy, adding to the impression. Deion Sanders get an interception. When he takes it to the house, he's out running everybody. He's high stepping. He's doing things. That is factored into it too. And I would say, Coach, that a lot of what he did that impressed the fans that used to just turn Atlanta Fulton County Stadium out and see you, man. I'm telling you, man, when we would see it on TV or in the dome. Now, when he first came here under Marion Campbell, and he was turning it out, Marion Campbell talking about, I just don't know what we're gonna do with him because he's just such a talent or whatever. And I used to get mad at that. See, a lot of that fed into the Atlanta Falcons fans' legacy as far as Deion Sanders is concerned. And he, for a time, he was the most feared cornerback out there. Okay, when he left, when Deion Sanders left and went to the 49ers, they won a Super Bowl that year. When he went to Dallas, they won a Super Bowl that year. And they attribute those Super Bowls to that man, to him. Now, it's not Falcons, you know, it's not part of the Falcons and didn't have anything to do with the Falcons, but it still added to the legacy. It's just, so I can kind of understand, and you know, I have to agree, he was one of the greats. The greatest, if you try to quantify it with stats, I understand you can try to quantify it with stats, but some of those stats were not available due to him doing other things, him not being in position, not because to Winston's point, if they're not throwing over there and they're not throwing on that side of the field because of your reputation, okay, and you shut down that side of the field, you're not going to have any interception number. You're going to have an intimidation factor. You're going to have an intimidation factor which cannot be quantified. And you know, you could take the completions from the other side of the field and say, well, Deion wouldn't allow that, but you know that's not fair. Okay, but
right. But John, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, Coach.
I would say to your pushback, that's why I said in my opening mantra, that's why I said how this is where Toddy was losing me, because you could use that I ain't gonna say excuse, But you can use that argument, I'll say, that Deion was a lockdown. Stats don't tell it all because people won't throw into his way. And I will say, okay, hold it right there with that thought process. On the flip side, I then bring in Charles and say exactly the same. People didn't throw to him, considered a lockdown defender just as great, but still had more interceptions. Please correlate to me the difference in interceptions when both players are considered lockdown. Both opposing teams absolutely hated throwing their way because they were monstrous, yet and still one person still outshines the other. That is where my argument to Tidy kept going. If both are the same, playing against the same, how can one use that as an excuse for not being as great as the other?
I would have to take similar teams in order to attempt to winnow that out. In attempt to winnow that particular stat out, I would take similar matchups with similar quarterbacks and similar teams, and then compare the interception stat. That would be the only way that you could do that, and that still might not give you anything. So
check your phone again.
All right. Let me respond to Coach on that also. And this is what I was saying, Coach, when we was having this debate. Like the cornerback position, you just can't look and say who had the most interceptions. So I'm gonna quantify who was greater based on that, especially when there's not total context given. And I'll start by this. As we all know, when Deion came to Atlanta, well, first of all, there was a holdout. He held out for more money, whatever. But he also was playing baseball at the time. So a lot of people don't even realize that Deion was not a starter for the entire season with Atlanta. He only started 10 games for the Falcons. You know, the head coach at the time, he didn't like the idea of Deion learning with baseball and football. So, you know, they taught him a lesson. They didn't start him when he finally signed, you know, the contract to play with the Falcons. He started 10 games that year, 5 interceptions. And also, during that Atlanta career, Deion was missing a significant amount of games. The 92 season, he only started 12 games. The 93 season, he only started 10 games. The San Francisco, he started only 12 games. So if Deion is playing like, we'll use Woodson in comparison, if he's fully committed to football full time, naturally he's going to play more games, and he also is going to pick up more interceptions if we're just looking at solely interceptions. But as a lot of other people have said, if quarterbacks know not to throw your way, they're not going to throw your way. And Coach, this is the example that I gave you when we talked. If we play Tampa Bay this year and Baker Mayfield try AJ Terrell 2 times the whole game, and he only complete 1 pass for 7 yards, and AJ don't have any interceptions. If you look at the stat sheet, you can't say, well, dang, AJ Terrell didn't play good football. No, that means he played phenomenal football because they didn't even test him. I'm sure y'all remember when Deion was in his peak, quarterbacks didn't even look that way. Deion used to be out there at track stances and doing all kind of crazy stuff because he knew the opposing quarterback wouldn't look his way. So I really don't think you can value which quarterback was greater based on interceptions. And one last thing. Keep in mind, Deion Sanders actually retired early, you know, due to having turf toe. And that probably had something to do with the fact that he was playing both sports and putting a lot of strain on his body. You know, so he retired after 11 years. And he came back when he was an old man. But if you're looking at his body of work those 11 years when he was playing in his prime, man, from what I saw, there was no greater cornerback in the game than prime time. And I think those 6 first-team all-pro selections actually will supersede where he falls at in the all-time interception list.
Okay, so let me go back to that. When you and so because the people wasn't privy to our conversation, clear well they could be, but more than likely they wasn't. When you said that, that is why I have never maintained that, and I keep seeing people put in the comment about interceptions. Interceptions is just a small metric of what a cornerback does. That's why I listed more metrics that one would use to rate a cornerback, and he's not in the top of any of them. So that's my point. The same caliber of player, same lockdown caliber of player, generally speaking, most a lot of places put Deion as number one, and just as many places put Charles at number one. So
that's not true.
It's not true.
Bro, yeah.
Hey, Coach, look,
hold on. John just read like 4 of them that had Charles at number one. John just read like 4.
Yeah, I did.
Coach, let me ask you this. All right, let's just go to current Falcons right now. Right now, you got Mike Hughes on one side. You got AJ on the other side. Who had more stats last year?
I don't know. I don't know that.
Mike Hughes.
Okay.
All right. So off of his stat, is he a better corner than AJ?
What? So no, of course not.
Okay, that's why we.
But they play on the same team. That's kind of an asinine. That's kind of an asinine statement.
That's what I'm sitting there saying. You can't quantify a cornerback by his stat. You got to ask.
You have to. What are you talking about? You literally have to. So if you can't do it by stats, then what do you do about it?
Oh, okay, Coach. Let me say this, Winston. I'm gonna give it back to you.
If I got a right-handed cornerback, if I have a right-handed quarterback, and the cornerback that's playing on the left side on his right-hand side of the field, he's not targeting. He's throwing across his body to the other cornerback because he feels this is the better option than going to his strong side. The one on his strong side is the better cornerback. Now I just looked it up.
I don't know what none of that you just said, but okay.
Charles Woodson was targeted way more than Deion in their careers. Way more, significantly more. That's because people was willing to try Charles Woodson because of the way he played.
Charles played loosely.
Yeah,
he played very loose.
Deion doesn't have to sit there and try to make a play. The play will come to him if you give him the opportunity. That's the
he don't. Okay. Okay.
Like you
all right, go ahead. What were you about to say, Toddy?
I was just gonna ask you, do you in your opinion, are you saying that the cornerback with the most interceptions that hold weight over other corners?
No, I'm not saying that at all. Like that has never been my. Again, INT to me, INTs are the sprinkles on the cake, just like sacks are the sprinkle on the cake to defensive linemen. To me, what makes a defensive lineman great is getting the quarterback off position, making him do things he don't want to do, so that other players can get the INT. No. INTs are not the end all be all. To me, INTs don't even rank high on the list. That's why I say I'm not sure why people are stuck on that when I said other metrics. But you absolutely have to consider stats when saying someone's greatness. Like, how can you not? Is what?
So let me ask you this, Coach. Do you? And when you look at the categories of what people have to go by to get in the Hall of Fame, is stats number one to you?
No, but that's what they use. They use your productivity on the field, i.e., stats, when determining someone's, I guess, greatness into the Hall.
Yeah. Eric Allen just got inducted to the Hall day before yesterday, and he got buku sacks. So if it was off of stats, then he should have been there a long time ago. That's cap. It's about the impact on the game. It's about what you do on the field. Whether you
how do you quantify what someone does on the field, Winston?
Easy. At cornerback, if people sitting there trying
any position. How do you quantify what someone does on the field? Like this is starting to get a little ridiculous because you just don't want to say what's the obvious.
For a middle linebacker, he's quantified by what? His tackles, his
Okay, what's tackles, Winston? What is a tackle?
I said it's different per position. You sitting there trying to go back to stats. You cannot use stats at every position.
What is a tackle, Winston?
I know what you're trying to goddamn walk me into. You're not gonna do it because I'm not backing.
Yeah, because you're being disingenuous. It's common sense, bro.
Hey! That word had too many syllables in it, sir. It's 4:00 in the afternoon, and I'm still drunk from last night.
Okay, my bad, John. Okay.
You just can't. You can't do it at corner.
So let me ask you this, Coach. If I'm an offensive lineman going in the Hall of Fame, is I'm going to be based off the amount of pancakes I had during my career?
That is going to be a metric, yes. Your play on the field, everything you do on the field is going to come into play. Everything you do on the field is what? Say it with me. Begins with 4 letters. I mean, it has 4 letters.
But don't you think that
play?
That's a lie. He said, and I quote, everything that you do on the field is what? It's a 4-letter word, right? All right. So if a quarterback is not throwing the ball in your direction because he knows you're good enough to make a play on it, what stat is that?
Targeting.
So oh my God.
Easy. It's targeted. How many times you've been targeted? It's a stat.
I've got to challenge that.
Right here. Now, if we're going along that metric, right? And you said Charles Woodson is better than Deion. What? All right. Who got targeted more? Since you want to use stats, who got targeted more? Charles Woodson.
Okay.
Therefore, it defeats your argument.
No, it not. No, it doesn't, because you're picking one thing. What I have said the entire time, and I this is crazy. I have said the entire time, Deion has never led in any stat. Tidy's response to me was, you can't quantify someone's greatness by stats. Period. I never once picked a single stat.
Hold on, Coach. You can't misinterpret what I said. I said you can't measure cornerbacks solely on that.
Okay, my bad. Okay,
and safeties as well. Just to put that out there as well.
Okay.
Cornerbacks and safeties are really the main ones you can't go off of stats of, and offensive linemen, because if I can get into the Hall of Fame by pancakes, then overall, I bet you every offensive lineman gonna be shooting for that because they want to go into the Hall of Fame.
But James, you're picking a single. Y'all are not hearing me. You're picking a single stat. I never once said a single stat when talking to Tidy. I have never, again, I am not talking about a specific stat. What I said was,
what other stats are out there then? What other stats can we look at if it's not interceptions for a corner? I mean, what other major stats should we consider?
I named them. You got interceptions, you got tackles, you got deflections, you got interceptions for touchdowns, you got targets. All of these stats.
Hey, Coach.
This is what I'm talking about.
You're a defensive coach, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Now, with you being a defensive coach, do you want your cornerback to have a whole bunch of tackles?
No. Who said anything about having a whole bunch of tackles? This is what I'm talking about.
You just said
I said tackles is a stat. If you have one tackle or you have 10 million tackles, it is still a stat.
Okay, well, all right. Now let me if I may.
Red, what you say?
Red, you say something, Red.
Red over there having a conniption down in the corner.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening to this craziness. Go ahead, yeah.
But see, okay, now let's go back. Were targets, was that a stat during the time that Woodson and Deion were playing?
There's information on it, so I don't know if it was then or now.
I don't think so.
Hold on, John. There's information on it now. So even if it wasn't then, there are stats for it right now. You can literally go and look up their targets. Them. Yes, you can. That's literally what I was saying to Tidy. You can go and see it now.
No, see, this is the thing that I wanted to bring out about that is that targets are subjective, because do you really know who you were trying to throw the ball to on a lot of plays?
Yeah, because another receiver shouldn't be in the area.
Right.
See, I mean, and the cornerback, and see, this is a lot of things that you attribute to defense are just happenstance. If the person happens to be right there when the ball is thrown and the ball is missed or caught or intercepted or whatever, that person just happened to be there. All right, you attribute that person with a
which is why I went into man versus zone, John. That was the reason right there. But go ahead.
But see, and that targeting stat. See, a lot of these stats that have come out now are subjective, very subjective. And its beauty being in the eye of the beholder. Okay.
I would disagree with that. Numbers don't lie. How can you be objective about a
see, where do the numbers come from? The numbers come from people who thought that this person was here and that they should be attributed to the play. They come from the eye test. Shameless plug. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, it comes from what that person or persons see on the field. Matter of fact, I'm gonna ground floor this situation. The Hall of Fame. The nominees in the Hall of Fame are people that have impressed the voters or the Hall of Fame enough to where they nominate them. Those people, okay? Then when they get in and they start to decide who they're going to put in the Hall of Fame, stats come up to justify or disqualify that particular person being voted into the Hall of Fame. Okay?
Absolutely.
So the impression is first. The impression is first. The vote is quantified by the stats or whatever prevailing stats that you might have.
Hey John, give me 1 second. Let me read this off y'all.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I looked up what is the NFL Hall of Fame criteria for a cornerback. Right? It says cornerbacks don't have a specific set of Hall of Fame criteria distinct from other players. Instead, the Pro Football Hall of Fame considers a player's entire body of work and impact on the game. They are the general factors that apply to all players considered for the Pro Hall of Fame. Right? Exceptional performance and impact, longevity and consistency, postseason honors and awards, notable statistics. Right? All right. Then This is why they don't do that for corners, because you cannot quantify everything a cornerback do with stats. Nobody
Bro, that is not what that just said. You literally just read it and are making your own interpretation.
And defensive touchdown, intangibles, and then it says, all right, in essence, the cornerback Hall of Fame candidacy is built on the foundation of exceptional play and consistent play over a significant period, supported by statistical achievement, individual awards, and a lasting impact on the game. Right now, they said the very first line says cornerbacks don't have a specific set of Hall of Fame criteria distinct from other players.
Correct, meaning everybody gets voted in over the exact same thing. There is no different from a cornerback than a offensive lineman. Why? Because they use stats to put them in there. Literally what you just read.
Hey, go to Winston, to test that theory the coach just put up.
Hold on.
Go to another position and let's see what they say about that position. I want to test that.
To look for what is the NFL Hall of Fame criteria for an offensive lineman? To be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, offensive linemen must demonstrate exceptional performance, longevity, and impact on the game, similar to players at other positions. While specific criteria are not explicitly defined, key factors include high pass block win rate, run block run rate, and few penalties and sacks allowed. Additionally, contribution to the team's success, leadership qualities, durability, and the strength of competition case are all considered. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Pass blocking win rate, penalties and sacks allowed, impact on team success, longevity and durability, leadership and teamwork, strength of competition, postseason award, the selection process, retirement requirement, and nomination selection. Well, we already know this. They have a specific thing. They sitting there telling you exactly.
No, bruh.
That kind of sounds similar.
It is, John. His comprehension skills are wild. You literally just said that. Oh my goodness.
You cannot go by stats with a cornerback. You can't because you can't.
Okay, now those are two positions that we just named that the lead in to both of those two positions, if I remember correctly, are basically the same thing. And then there are specific criteria that you go to as a consideration, not a criteria, consideration. Am I accurate on that?
Yes, John. Everything boils. It has been my point the entire time. Everything boils down to stats. It is unbelievable to me that we are arguing that aspect of it. I thought we were going to be talking about something else, but if we're arguing about stats, that's crazy.
Ain't nobody.
Well, I'm still going to say
stats. You cannot do it.
Yeah, I'm still going to say that the stats are something that are argued. Okay, say for instance, you trying to put a cornerback. There's only one slot, and there's a cornerback going into the Hall of Fame. Okay, I may want Deion, coach. You may want Rod Woodson. All right.
Hold on. Here it goes right here. I ask this: how do the Hall of Fame criteria look at a lockdown corner with low targets? The answer is this: in general, a low number of targets against a cornerback is often seen as a sign of respect and effectiveness, implying that quarterbacks are actively avoiding throwing to their side of the field due to their strong coverage skills. This can be a strong indicator of a lockdown cornerback impact, as their presence effectively shuts down one side of the field and forces the offense to adjust their strategy. Now, how does it relate to the Hall of Fame consideration? Effectiveness over volume. While raw interception numbers and pass defended can be eye-catching, the Hall of Fame selection committee also evaluates a player impact on the game beyond just stats. A lot.
Who is arguing that? No. When have I ever argued that?
You don't want to keep arguing stats. You cannot play a cornerback off of stats. A lot down.
Bro, holy shit.
So let me ask this.
Significant impact.
Holy shit.
Offensive option and disrupting game plan. Game-wrecking impact. This is number 2. A truly elite shutdown corner can be a game record, turning the tide of contests with their ability to neutralize the opposing team.
Oh my God.
This kind of influence is a strong factor in Hall of Fame consideration, even if it doesn't always translate into high volume or defensive stats. Beyond the numbers. Number 3. While statistics are undoubtedly important, the Hall of Fame selection committee also consider other factors, such as a player's accolade, and overall contribution to the sport.
Damn, but we going deep in this shit.
Is a lockdown defender, even
which is crazy.
Earn recognition for the exceptional play. Come on, bro! Like you can't quantify it.
Damn.
See.
Hold on, y'all.
Okay.
Hold on. So, Coach, let me ask you this one last question in regards to this, because I'm ready to move on from this.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, because it's gonna be an end cycle, because one person has their ideal of it, another person has their ideal of it. So, Coach, let me ask you this: what do you think is the number one thing that gets a person in the Hall of Fame? Let me ask you that. What's the number one thing? One, yeah.
As Winston just read, and I'm not understanding how he don't understand what he is reading and seeing. The number one thing that gets someone in the Hall of Fame is their stats. Why is it their stats? Because it goes off accolades. How do you get said accolades? All defensive, all pro, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year, any and every accolade that you get on the field is going to be stat based.
The last thing I just read.
Everything, every accomplishment, every award, everything you do in sports goes down to stats. Period. Like I'm not. That's why I'm not understanding why this is so hard to understand. Like your impact on the game, like off the field, yeah, that's different. But your on the field play is always going to boil down to stats. It just depends on what stat is deemed more important than others.
So let me ask you this.
Hey, James, I thought you said you only had one question.
So but it's leading to something else, though.
Oh, so I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen.
So if I'm playing the cornerback position and my interceptions and my tackles are there, and my interceptions and tackles are there, but my overall statistics and percentages is not up to par, and I'm not selected. Would you think that you still consider as a snub that I didn't get the accolades that I was supposed to get? Because that ain't happened before.
Hold on. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying if your stats are there and you get a snub for what, the Hall of Fame?
No, All Pro. Because you said accolades play a role in the stat because of the stats, right?
No, I'm saying accolade is a stat. You can't get rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, MVP. You can't get a single accolade in any sport without stats. Period. That's what I'm saying.
let me say this then, because Sauce Gardner is not
Andre
Sauce
Iguodala
Gardner.
getting on final MVP without having
Man, go ahead, James. What you saying, bro? What?
What I'm
man.
what I'm saying is it's kind of leaning towards Winston, because I have a Sauce Gardner in the league that's not an interception guy, but he's making all pros though. He's his tackles is not there as well, but he's making all pros though. So how much accolades go into
What? What?
a stat then?
First thing,
Because there has to be, okay. Name me one person on the field who has gotten any form of accolade with zero stats. Name me one player who has made the NFL who has or who has any type of stat. I mean, any type of accolade who has zero stats.
Well, nobody.
Okay,
'cause you can't-
That's my
You
point.
can't say it.
But,
You can't
I
say
see
that.
what's
You
happening.
can't say
but
that.
you
can't
you
say
can't
I
you can't
see
play
what's
in the
happening.
game. You can't play in the game
Me too,
without
John.
having
Me
some
too.
type of stats, though, Coach. I mean,
He-
stats.
And that's my point, Tidy.
They even keep
Okay,
zero.
They even
Trying to
keep,
keep
they, have,
that
they
zero.
even have a stat for how many times you played in a game. That's a stat. You know?
Exactly.
He's trying
okay,
to
hey,
keep
hey, I
zero
see
as a
what's
measure.
going on. But see, this is the thing.
Point. You
You-
cannot do that. Just because
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Well, hold on. Let me say this. There are people that should be in the Hall of Fame that have superior stats to the people that they put in the Hall of Fame that particular class.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so stats, like I said, stats is justification, not reason why. Because
Right.
cause see, the thing is, these people, and this is something else. I forgot to say this, and this is the most important thing, because I've always said this about the Hall of Fame. If the
John,
man voting in the Hall of Fame didn't have mustard on his hot dog at lunch, he'll take it out on you. If
let
you
me say-
didn't, if you didn't interview well with the writers and the people who are with the Hall of Fame, because I just looked at all who are the voters in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I just took a look at the list, and it's a real long list. Okay, if they get together and don't want you in there, no matter what stats you have, you could get turned down for Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Dick Butkus Lineman Award, whatever. It's all subjective. It's all subjective. So the thing is that you cannot, number one, to encapsulate what it is that I'm saying, you cannot rely totally on stats to get you in the Hall of Fame. You can't do it. All right.
Okay.
Number two, it's opinion based. Even the stats themselves are opinion based a lot of times. Okay, that a lot of those things, those are opinion based. When like we were talking about targets, all right, or did they defense? Who was defending that particular man? Well, two of them was in the area. I'm gonna give it to that person right there. Okay, stuff like that.
I see what you're saying on
I'll
that.
tell you one better. You can get a PBU. You can get a PBU for reaching in and never touching the ball. Instead of
That's true too.
Okay, so let me reiterate yet again what I have been saying to Ty, what me and Tidy's conversation was about. Because clearly you're not hearing me, so I want to make sure I'm speaking English. I have never once said, not one single time, that stats was the end all be all. I have not said that stats is the only reason someone gets in the Hall of Fame. I never have said any of these things. My sole argument with Tidy was, Tidy said that you cannot use stats to grade how good a cornerback is. My retort to that is, You absolutely can, because stats are used to determine how great a player is. Again, let me say that. Tidy said that stats. Tidy said that you cannot use stats to quantify how good a player a cornerback is. My reply to that was, yes, you can, because stats are the metric used to grade how great a player is. I have never said it was all about INTs. I haven't said it was about pass deflections, being locked down, Hall of Fame, none of that. So, again, stop with the false narrative. Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say any of that.
Okay, Coach. See, now I got to disagree with that explanation, and I heard it the very first time, but I got to disagree with that, because it is impression that gets you the grade in a lot of people's mind. All right, I'm looking at, because I've heard people say.
What do you mean by impression? Hold on. What do you mean by impression?
Oh, I'm about to quantify that. I'm about to explain.
Okay.
All right. Some coaches will be in the film room looking at plays. Look at number 47. He always near the ball. I like that about him. He man, every time the ball is on, he's right there where the ball is. He's always active. His legs are moving, whatever. There's no stat. There's no stat to quantify that. It's impressive. You see what I'm saying? He might not have a single tackle, but he might be there and show in front of a man. And with that man's reputation of being a real good tackler or something, he shows, so the running back or the wide receiver goes another way and somebody else gets the tackle.
There actually is a stat for that, John.
What is it?
If I'm not mistaken, hold on, what's the name of it? I think it's motor. Is it motor?
And that's subjective, Coach.
But John, it's still a stat.
No, that's not.
But hold it, Coach.
Hold on, John. Hold on.
It's a grade. Okay, you're right. You're right. It's a grade. It's a grade. My bad. You're right. It's a grade.
Either. That's not a grade or a stat. If I say Paul Warlow, his motor always running, nobody is recording that as an official stat or grade. That's not true, Coach.
It isn't, bro. They use motor in the combine. What do you mean? It is a grade.
But
where can I find a stat from motor on what official stat?
I can see that I misspoke. It's not a grade. It's not a stat. It is a grade, though. They give a numerical value to your motor.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. How do you grade a motor when I mean it has to be impression.
But John,
that's why I go back to impression.
But John, you've had a job, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Have you ever gotten a raise?
Yes.
Okay. So your boss, even though it was his opinion, your boss, supervisor, whoever, even though it was their opinion, they used some form of metric, some form of stat to evaluate your performance in your job, to then give you your raise, to then increase your likelihood of rising up of the ladder of place where you work. Yes, everything is a pit. Most of it is opinion based.
Wait a minute.
That doesn't discount the fact that it is what it is. I'm asking you. Have you ever been given a raise?
Hey John, I'm gonna go after you. Go ahead, John.
I've gotten a raise, but you know how sometimes I got a raise. I like you.
Hey, John, what status?
And that was it.
Okay.
Hey,
And a lot of time, and see, okay, I'm going to correlate
that's a
that. I'm going to
kiss-ass
correlate
stat right
that
there.
to the Hall of Fame. I'm going to correlate that to the Hall of Fame. All right. I like you, Harris. I believe you deserve a raise because you seem to be a conscientious type of guy. You always have always asking questions about how to improve the business and all that type of stuff. But see, the thing is, I want to give you 5%, but I can't justify it because there's no way for me to justify that. So we're gonna have to go in here and figure out how we're gonna do this. All right. Now, that's where they started. When people started filing EEOs, people started filing lawsuits and things of that sort. You had to go to a quantifiable system and put down benchmarks that, if reached, sales targets, lack of grievances, things of that sort, to justify the rate. Because a lot of times it was just, you have to be liked by somebody. You got to get somebody in your corner. Okay.
But my point is, there's a metric. I mean,
I know. I understand
there's a
metric, but the metric justifies the opinion.
That's my point. Whether it's opinion or not, it still is justified by metrics. That's you're saying what I'm saying.
And in some companies, it may not be.
Let me ask both of y'all this question. All right. Now, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, who do y'all think is better?
Who?
John Sally.
No, Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen.
Oh, okay. I thought you said John Sally. I thought I heard John Sally too.
Whatever. My answer to that is whatever the stats say.
No. Cause see, the thing is that I would have to go. I would have to go on my.
He said he asked two people. So if you asking me, okay, you going on your impression. I'm going on stats.
Well, all right. So, you know what? I'm gonna do you one better. Hey, Toddy.
What's up?
All right. So the NFL executive top on QB joint just came out, right?
I think that was the next segment.
Yep.
All right. What's the rank?
Okay, so I'm gonna read this off and then we're gonna go over the rankings real quick, y'all. It says ESPN surveyed league executive coaches and scouts to help us rank the top 10 players at 11 different positions, from quarterback to cornerback and all positions in between. This is the 6th year of doing the rankings, and as usual, several players moved up and fell off the list. I'll give y'all the top 10, and we'll dissect it like we do. Number 1 on the list is Patrick Mahomes at number 1. Number 2 is Josh Allen, who we just mentioned. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4 is Lamar Jackson. Number 5, kind of surprising to me, but we'll talk about it, Jaden Daniels. Number 6, Mr. Matthew Stafford. 7, Justin Herbert. Number 8, Jared Goff. Number 9 is Jalen Hurts. And number 10 is the rival Mr. Baker Mayfield. How we feeling about this list, gentlemen?
That sounds about right to me.
What were the top two?
The top 2 were Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. 1 and 2.
Now, see, I would automatically, stats unseen, would award the top quarterback spot to the Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl winning quarterback, because he won the ultimate prize, and you can't take that away. You can't take that away. Now, this is what these executives and everybody are saying. And see, Patrick Mahomes, I would have an argument, or I would have a quandary in my mind about anyone else besides Patrick Mahomes, because I've seen what Patrick Mahomes has been able to do. Okay, there might be a stat for yards or touchdowns thrown after a scramble. All right, that you might have a stat like that. But if you saw what Patrick Mahomes had to get out of in that scramble and all of that in order to throw that touchdown versus the cold hard stat that's on paper without any type of film or anything attributed to it or attached to it, you would just say, well, no, Jalen Hurts, he scrambled and did the same thing. All right. Pass might have gone both for both players, the pass might have gone 20 yards. All right. So I look on film and I look at both of these people, and Patrick Mahomes avoided 40 doggone folk 3 times in order to get his pass off. Jalen Hurts scrambled around, didn't avoid but one person and got his pass off. Now I've got to, after looking at what actually took place, good grief, man, how in the world did Patrick Mahomes get that off? I've got to give the accolade to him based on him. Okay, so that's why I say stats tell a story, but sometimes don't tell the story. You have to, a lot of times, you got to see what took place. And people are impressed by what they saw. All right. And once they are impressed by what they saw, that controls their vote one way or another. And see now at this time, looking at this quarterback ranking that the title just suggested, not being able to remember all that took place this past year, I'll just go along with it, just for the sake of the fact that somebody ranked some folk, because see, really I don't get in. A lot of times I don't get in those types of arguments. None of the Falcons up there, so the heck with the list.
So
I'm a Falcon fan.
Let me ask y'all this real quick,
John. We gotta wait next year before we get on it.
Let me ask y'all this real quick. Do y'all feel like, and I'll go ahead and admit, I feel like I would put Lamar ahead of Joe Burrow at 3. And I might even argue that I would put him above Josh Allen. I'm going to tell you why. And without getting into the stat conversation, but if you look at yards per attempt, Lamar Jackson led the NFL with 8.8 yards per attempt. That's a very important number when you're talking about how proficient or efficient a quarterback is. He was number 2 in the NFL in passing touchdowns. Now here go one of my favorite stats for a quarterback. Without getting into that discussion, TD percentage. Lamar Jackson was far ahead of the field at 8.7%, damn near 10% in touchdown percentage. He also had the highest QB rating by a very large margin at 119. I would argue that he's at least number 3, and you can make an argument for number 2. That's what sticks out of my mind when I look at this list off top.
To be honest, me personally, if we actually are looking at the tape, Lamar plays better than Patrick Mahomes. And I know that's a controversial subject, but that's a subject
they probably
because Pat came out like gangbusters and stuff, and Pat, even though he won the Super Bowl, was in it.
They probably had
he's not the Pat Mahomes of old. And the thing is, Pat Mahomes ain't even old. Pat going in what is 8th year, 9th year?
Yeah, he's still in his 20s.
Yeah, he's still in his 20s.
getting fat though.
And in all actuality, his play is declining. It is declining. So, I mean, to actually look at, his play is declining. Like if you go look at it, if you actually go look at it,
His
that's why I
players
say
definitely
it's a controversial subject because he had built such a name early. Because he had built such a name early, people don't want to go against against the previous notion of a player than to actually see what the player is actually doing. But his last 2-3 years have dipped. His last 2 years have dipped. And you got to be honest with yourself over that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you on that train, Winston. We on the same side of the train on this topic because, like you said, if you look at these last 2 years, in 2022, Pat Mahomes had damn near 5,300 passing yards, 41 touchdowns. The last 2 seasons, 2023, he had about 4,200 passing yards, only 27 touchdowns. And I know that might be a stretch, but this is Pat Mahomes.
Sorry ass receivers, man.
Hold on, Red. Let me finish my point, and then I'll let you respond. He had 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. 2024 came down a little bit more. 3,900 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Now, Red is going to say that he don't have the weapons, but I also would argue that Lamar Jackson, maybe until this year with Derrick Henry, who's a running back, he ain't really had no guys he could throw to. Go ahead, Red.
What was his passer rating in each of those seasons?
Who Pat Mahomes?
Yeah.
Passer rating for 2023. He was, 2022. He was 105. 2023, he was 92. And then 2024, he was 93.
I'm gonna go after Red. Go ahead, Red.
Did he free?
I already said what I said. He ain't had no weapons.
Oh, okay. I mean, I agree with both of y'all. Me personally, I would have put who was number 2? Toddy, Josh, right?
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I would have put Josh at number 1. For just if we're talking about this list is just for last year, right?
Yeah, this is the 2024. So they're going into 2025.
Right. It's the 2025 rankings using last year's metrics, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So if we're using last year's rankings, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Josh Allen was the best quarterback in the league last year. But I mean, it's at this point, I guess, as John would say, it's subjective because they're using a ton of different metrics. But to something that John said, just because specifically a quarterback is on a team that wins the Super Bowl, don't mean that he was the cause of them winning said Super Bowl. Like prime example would be Peyton Manning. The year they went to the Super Bowl, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was very mediocre during the year, and then he absolutely bombed in the Super Bowl. But their running back and their defense was good. As with Baltimore, when they won, I don't think they ever scored more than 20 points. I think their average was like 17 points the year that they won because it was solely defense. So, I mean, it does happen.
Now, but I'll tell you this, Coach,
James,
that ain't gonna be the reason you win. We gonna have to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Hey, James, you want to go? James?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Yeah. Because see, mine will be a rebuttal because I did go first. I'm trying to keep. I'm trying to be cordial and nice.
When I look at the overall body of work and the consistency of everything, when it comes to the quarterback position, I'm gonna have to go with Coach. Josh Allen should be number 1. Name any other prominent figures on that offense besides Josh Allen.
Good point.
and he's still doing it on a consistent basis with that team with no prominent offensive figures besides him. I look at Lamar. I had him and Lamar up there close. Patrick Mahomes is he's not falling off, but the consistency of the passing yards and everything is steady, like y'all say, steadily decline. The only thing is really that Lamar has Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews ain't no slouch at tight end.
Nope, had him on my fantasy. That boy was a beast last year.
It's ain't no slouch at tight end. So he has weapons around him to get him the wins, and that defense in Baltimore has always been there. It just to me, Josh Allen is doing more with less. He had a less core. They went through a whole overhaul, not this offseason, but the offseason beforehand. And they still made the playoffs. So that shows me the consistency that when you have that consistent quarterback. Well, I ain't gonna talk about the other side of the ball, but when you have that consistent quarterback and he's that great, he has to go number one for what he's doing.
James and everybody, I want to ask y'all this because y'all have made a good point that I want to point out. When we say Josh Allen is doing more with less, which I do tend to agree with, I want to shine a light on Joe Burrow. Because we're lifting a guy like Josh Allen up for doing more or less. When you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, do you give him any kind of demerit because he has a Pro Bowl cast of guys around him on offense? You know, do you demerit him for that, or is just like he's doing what he's supposed to based on what he has? Because most of these guys were in the playoffs last year.
I would say that you kind of have to, which kind of brings me to something. Your point is exactly what I was going to make about Lamar. Like, I was a staunch defender of Lamar up until recently because I'm like, you know, he's good. You know, every tangible everyone always says about him. But then I started to look like, well, how is it he's consistently failing once he gets to the playoffs? Like, is it that he's not as good as we think? Or you know, what's the issue? So I kind of tend to agree with that, Tidy. Like, if you got all these weapons and you can't get it done, at some point we have to look at you. Like, it's literally a must. The common denominator is the most important person on the field. Sort of on the same level as, you know, he who shall not be named, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You know,
who is that? Who that is? Who is it?
He who not be named.
But hold up.
He had weapons and just couldn't get it done. So that has to be a blemish on your legacy. I mean, it just has to, in my opinion.
So
go ahead, Red. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Red. Who was it?
I think that's Winston.
Go ahead, Winston. I'm sorry.
No, that was Winston.
So when Josh Allen had the All-Star cast over there, was it good defense? Is that a knock on his legacy too?
Not yet. Because it was one time. That's what I'm saying. If it's consistently issue, like Tidy just said, you gotta kinda you have to start looking at the source. Like, in my opinion, it just makes sense because you're consistently getting there, but you're not getting it done. So what is the, like, you have to look at them. It has to be a blemish. Like Jim Kelly, prime example, Jim Kelly. It has to be a blemish on Jim Kelly's record because he got to the Super Bowl 4 straight years and never won. At some point, with the all-star cast, he couldn't get it done. You have to look at that.
Now, I gotta say something. It's about three things I gotta say. Now, Coach, I gotta disagree with you on Lamar Jackson, and the reason why. The tight end had the ball in his breadbasket. Well, I mean, the man dropped a pass that would have won the game. Wasn't nothing more.
But John, that was one time. But that was one that I said. But that was one time. He's consistently failing.
No. Now, coach. Now I understand that was one time. You said never got it done. All right.
Right. He didn't. He hasn't.
This latest time, the very last time that this man was on the field, he put the ball where the ball was supposed to be, right in the man's hand, which would have gotten him to the point where he could have got it done. Okay, but that was not his fault. I can't look at him after last year as being the sole reason for them not being in the Super Bowl, or as a important reason as to why they're not in the Super Bowl. He did his job.
So
but John, let me push back and be devil's advocate, because there is a number 11 who was in the back in the NFC championship game, in the back of the end zone. The ball hit his hands. He did not catch it. The team lost that game. You very rarely hear him mentioned, but you hear the person who threw the ball.
Championship game did Julio?
That was the NFC Championship game, was it? Wasn't it? Or was it the semi? Was it the semi or was it the champion?
No. That was the playoff game. That was the first playoff game.
Oh, okay.
That was the first playoff game in 2017.
Okay.
Against Philadelphia.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Okay, so see, the thing is that in that particular instance, I can't blame Lamar Jackson on that. Now, Patrick Mahomes, as other people are saying that Patrick Mahomes' play has slipped. I remember Winston and Tyler said Patrick Mahomes' play has slipped. Yeah. When the man's number one weapon, and I got to go here, man. When Tyreek Hill left and they came back the next season, the very first game they played on that Thursday night, I said, oh, hey, because the wide receiver was dropping everything.
But they won the Super Bowl.
Now, they came back and won the Super Bowl, but the wide receivers were dropping everything. And the wide receiver core for Kansas City has been subpar, in my opinion. I say that. Ever since Tyreek Hill left. All right, it's been an iffy situation. You know who the pivotal person was? The tight end. The tight end was the pivotal person that made the passing game go. Now, once defenses figured that out, it got harder and harder for Patrick Mahomes to be successful. Because as NFL defenses are going to do, they're going to adjust. Like Belichick used to always do. Whatever it is you do good, take that away, make them win it some other type of way. And that's just the evolution of the league. So I cannot condemn Patrick Mahomes or say that his play fell off because of him. It's because whenever you win the Super Bowl, and this is something I always say, if you even get to your conference championship, you get a bullseye on your back for the next season. You got a great big red and white bullseye on your back. So whatever one-trick pony you were riding, if it was only a one-trick pony, you better learn some new tricks. You better learn some new things. And as a consequence, quarterback play, wide receiver play, running back play, those things are going to suffer because people are trying to figure you out all the time. Okay, so in saying all of this right now, I can kind of agree as far as his quarterback play going down, but as far as him as a player, I have to kind of use those mitigating factors to say, well, okay, they've gotten used to him. He hasn't caught anybody off guard. They're still the toast of the West Coast, or the West side of the AFC side of the roster of the ledger. But it's not like he's just falling into the toilet or anything of that nature. I say that.
No, I ain't saying he's falling in the toilet, but I think he'd have came back down to earth. That's the thing.
Sort of like CJ did his second year.
I think if you give him a new guy, if you give him a new go-to weapon that can take the top off the field, I think he'll put.
He already got that. He got Ross.
Who?
Like speed.
You got who?
Speed wise, Kansas City got the fastest receiving corps in the league.
Hold up. Who he got? You said
that boy Ross that sit there and broke the combine record.
Talking about Worthy?
Kansas City got the fastest receiving corps in the league.
Are you talking about Worthy, Winston?
Who?
Worthy?
He's talking about Xavier Worthy. He talking about
him. Yeah, he had Ross too.
Who the hell is Ross? Right?
No, Ross. ROSS.
Well, look, like I'm with John on this. Like ever since Tyreek Hill left, the receiving corps really ain't been the same. In fact, he don't got 2 Super Bowls still. I mean, even with just the tight end and with all the adjustments being made, he still that dude. Man. A lot of quarterbacks you take away their weapons and whatnot, they may not even make the playoffs. The Super Bowl. So
receiving corps,
that guy, he's still number one to me.
Mahomes got a solid receiving corps.
Exactly.
With Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice.
It ain't as solid as some of these other cats.
Xavier Worthy run a 4.21.
Man, but he ain't really taking the top off most defenses though. Xavier Worthy.
He running 4.21. What are you talking about?
What you talking about? How many defenses did he take the top off last year?
That's literally what he do. He take the top off the defense. This ain't Madden. How many NFL cornerbacks do you think is sitting there running a 4.21?
I don't think it's Xavier. With Xavier Worthy, he all right, but he ain't.
Taking the top out of the defense ain't about the deep threat. It's about opening up everything underneath.
You give Mahomes a real solid I think
this ain't Madden. You're not sitting there hitting the long ball every time. But if I can open up the rest of the field because y'all got to put 2 or 3 people over here because this man taking the top out of the defense, which actually breaks down your defense, he did his job. That's another stat that's not quantifiable. It's another stat not quantifiable.
But didn't Pat and KC win a Super Bowl without Tyreek?
Yeah, they won.
Yes.
They won one. They won one without Tyreek.
He can get this. So he don't really need one, but I think his numbers would be. You say his numbers fell off. I think his numbers would be back similar if he had like Tyreek.
But he had 5,200 yards and 41 touchdowns without Tyreek Hill. You can argue that he played his best year in the NFL when Tyreek Hill left.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, now that might be true. Now, you all were saying that he's been declining. That was what the argument was.
Yeah, that's what I was arguing. He ain't declined. He ain't declined.
See that's what the argument or the statement was that Mahomes had been declined.
Change it up now.
Not
Change it
not
up.
talent wise, but stat wise, yeah, his stats are declining, but not his talent.
Right.
Okay.
And see,
Okay,
So I'm saying his play on the field. Now, whether they go towards the talent or they go towards the stat, his play on the field is declining. See, stat,
and I think because the talent around him is declined.
the talent around him ain't declined. I put it to you like this. All right, so Kelsey is getting older. I think it's gonna be Kelsey last season. To be honest. All right. Now you have you got a young group of speedsters, and y'all are deep. Y'all are deep. Like you can't. It's not like a Lamar situation where Lamar only had his tight end and he ain't had no wide receiver. You got an all-pro tight end and good wide receivers outside. Lamar literally didn't have wide receivers outside. Hey, buddy, man, what you doing? So you better go get a hot dog. Hold off on that. I'll buy you a hot dog later. Come dress up for the Ravens and play wide receiver. That's what Lamar was dealing with. Josh Allen can't even sit there and say that because he always had something around. Lamar literally only had a tight end. He had Andrews and what dude Likely. And that was a whole passing game. Now he done got Bateman and
Zay Flowers.
Flowers. Yeah, now he got options on the outside. He didn't have that. You see what I'm saying? And Bateman got hurt this rookie season. He didn't have it. That's different, man. Like that's different. Like they said this in the chat. Like a good great quarterback elevates everybody around him. It's cap. It's a team accomplishment. You have to have a team around you. I'm sorry, you're not gonna if your stars are hurt, you're not gonna win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't because if you're in the Super Bowl, if they're fully healthy and you broke down, you're not going to beat them because they got to the Super Bowl for X reason. They was great at what they did in their conference. You're not gonna beat them. I'm sorry, like that's Madden play.
Let me say this about the Joe Burrow situation. When it comes to does it deter Joe Burrow? No. I'm gonna say no. Because that team was specifically drafted for him. And he was even consistent before before Chase got there.
Ooh, that scared the shit out of me. God damn.
So it doesn't deteriorate.
Coach, you ain't living
there's
right.
Other aspects like the ownership is getting hell right now for not doing their job on the defensive side of the ball. So it's like I can't deter that away from him because he's being consistent, but that team was basically he had T. Higgins when he came, but that team was basically set up for him to be successful. They drafted that team very well on the offensive side of the ball.
No, T came in with Burrow.
Yeah.
I thought he was a year before.
They was really a defense away from making the playoffs. I mean, Burrow did his job and he made the Super Bowl. And Jackson ain't made it.
That's the only pushback that I'll give to you, James, when you say the ownership catching hell for not putting a defense around him, is because when Joe Burrow get the money he got, Jamar Chase get the money he got, and T. Higgins got the money he got, you ain't giving your general manager really a lot of room to go out there and get your defense. You're gonna have to hope your Rickers come in and they play spectacular football, or your young guys.
And I agree with that. And I agree with
They
that,
fucking with the
but
young
you
guys,
know
right?
that could be a deterior because Joe Burrow had a major effect on that because he wanted to keep T Higgins and Jamar Chase because either one of them, if they would have saved some money, T Higgins was going to be gone.
Yeah.
So, so I understand that metric of it and everything, around it. And then with the Trey Hendrick situation, yes, I agree with you on that. I definitely I agree with you.
And see, that offensive line, good God Almighty, I ain't seen no offensive line that bad since Jeff George started in Indianapolis. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
I thought you
Man,
were going to
and then on top of that, in that Super Bowl, y'all got to go back and look at it. That fourth down conversion where the running back did not sell the hell out and catch that pass while he was under duress from that old sorry offensive line they had. Oh boy, I just would have liked to have seen what would have happened if they converted that first down, because see, man, it was well within his wheelhouse.
Yeah, Burrow would have got a ring. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. Like, best pure passer is Burrow. Most talented arm is Patrick Mahomes. Biggest arm is somewhere a toss up between Lamar and Josh Allen.
Yeah, probably Josh.
Oh, and yeah, that's something else I wanted to say about Josh Allen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't there rumblings that last year was supposed to be the make or break year for Josh Allen? That they were talking about busting up the team, weren't they?
No.
No.
Oh, now I heard rumors about this.
Now that you were those fan rumors like we be doing in Atlanta, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy?
No, it was talk on hold on, let me do some looking. Y'all go ahead.
I don't think it would be feasible, but this is what I was saying earlier. I could understand why that would actually be some talks, because after a certain point, you have to evaluate why it is we can make it to the playoffs, but we can't just get over the hump.
See, the thing is, though,
I think they more wanted to move on from the coach. I think they were thinking about moving on.
If that's anything, I agree with Red on that, because if you look at not this offseason, but the offseason beforehand, they really busted up that team on the offense and defensive side of the ball. They released so many players, especially from their defense last year, that it was a crying out shame, because it was like every other day you'll see some. The Bills release this player. The Bills are parting ways with this player like Jordan Poyer and that other safety, and they lost a lot. They lost some key pieces that was still was getting them to the playoffs. But at hand, what they did this year with the pieces that they had, they still made the playoffs. I think this new team that they got is eventually going to get over the hump, because to be honest with you, they the one of the most challenging to Kansas City right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say all the time, had they made it to the playoffs, I think had they made it to the Super Bowl, I mean, that would have been a much better game to watch than that crap we had this past year. That would have been a much better game. And I think they would have won it all.
Hey Ray, you saw the news?
What happened?
Marcus Smart going to the Lakers.
Marcus Smart
going to the Lakers. 2-year deal.
All right.
$11 million.
That's a good defensive guy. I like him. That's a good move.
Oh, okay.
Right,
now I looked at it.
Back to the Falcons.
There
Back to football.
Yeah. Now there was one article that was talking about Josh Allen, but there were many articles talking about Sean McDermott and blaming him for the fact that the Bills would get there but not make it over the hump. And as far as Lamar Jackson is concerned, in the previous, no, I can't remember whether that was a regular season game or whether that was a playoff game, where he threw a supposed touchdown pass to a wide receiver in the end zone, but he couldn't keep his feet in, and he stepped out of the back of the end zone. So, and that touchdown, the fact that they missed that touchdown, and I think it was in the last few seconds of the game, that took them out. But as you know, the higher you go in the playoffs, it's more about up here than it is right here. Because you can't make mistakes. You can't be jumping off sides. You can't be holding, which is, a subjective situation. And it's a more cerebral game because physically both teams are closely matched. And you determine, one mistake here, one mistake there. Just like that last touchdown that Kansas City scored on the last time they won the Super Bowl. That route that receiver, that pivot route that man ran coming out of the backfield, when he went to the inside and then turned around and spun back out to the outside, the man was open at the beginning of the play.
That's my favorite route out of all of football. That is my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do nothing about that.
No, you can, but it's gonna show your actual technique. It's literally gonna break down your technique. Are you saying solid, or you committing, or you over committing? Like that's all the pivot route is. I'm gonna make a quick move inside. I'm gonna bang back outside. You staying with me? You not?
But yeah, John, you got a point. But as we know, unfortunately, sadly, catastrophically, that
oh my God, just
that bad decisions can ruin a superior team chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
we know that firsthand, Coach.
Hey,
yeah,
Coach,
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Coach, are you standing up?
Let's not.
No, I'm sitting down.
Well, I'm glad you are, because see, that doggone build up to keep from saying what it was that you were trying to say.
Yeah, because I refuse to say.
Man, that was classic.
What you and Red around, there are certain names I refuse to say.
I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you finally got that transmission in gear.
He been talking around.
Car rolling back down. Hey, Coach, car rolling back down the hill.
I'm trying with y'all two in here. It's names I ain't gonna say because we'll be totally off the rails.
Hey, you ain't got to say it.
We know how that always. We know how that always ends up.
Hey, demand, Sarah, demand Sarah. Hey, look, like that's the difference between a winning organization and an organization that's trying to be complacent with barely winning. The Ravens, one thing for sure, two things for sure, defense wins championships, especially in an offensively driven league. If you can't sit there and slow them down, I ain't sitting there saying stop them, but if you can't slow them down, your ass is cooked. Ravens always going to look towards their defense first. Ravens,
that's how they will build.
Drafting a corner every year. Every year they drafted a corner. I don't care what round it was, they were drafting a corner. Why? Because the most important thing is slow down the offense.
Yeah.
Buffalo sitting there.
Hey, not on Winston, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh.
You see, I would say Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay used to do that. Tampa Bay defense, they just started drafting back defense again. Back when they got Vita Vea.
Oh, you talking about they stopped when Bruce Arians got over there?
Yeah, man, they were going all offense. We're going straight
That's
off.
that's good.
Well, I'm not gonna complain about that. I hope they go back to it and keep doing it.
Yeah, man, me too, coach. Cause that's what we was kicking their ass.
But what I'm sitting there saying is, what you do if you want to be a winning organization, you draft for talent. You don't draft for a position. You don't draft for a need. That way you have talent across the board. Now you have depth. So if anybody goes down, you already got somebody you can insert in and get the job done. It does not change. Your framework doesn't change. That's why you see certain teams steadily in contention conversations. Look at Philly. Philly took and drafted straight talent. And all the talent they couldn't grab, they went and got it in free agency. AJ Brown. They took it. They got AJ Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith. They got Jalen Carter. And the year before that, they got Jordan Davis. Like they just go get it. You took it when got Cooper DeJean, and then took and double down and got what's the other boy on the outside? Both of them rookies. They both won a Super Bowl in their first year. Quinyon Mitchell. They going to go get talent.
And the guy from Iowa. Man, you talking about the guy from Iowa?
Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell. No, Cooper DeJean came from Iowa.
Yeah. You right, Winston. Good teams, good to great teams get their talent in the draft. You get your positional needs from free agency.
Exactly. Because you want your talent. You want your talent to develop in-house. And then for two, you got smaller contracts to deal with. See, free agency is supposed to be just the icing on the cake. I can go spend the money for this player to change my franchise.
Yeah, for a need.
Yeah, but I know I got this coming in the wing. That's how you got sustainability. But if you sit and draft the need. See, like Terry Fano talking about that DPA. All right, yeah, it sounds good, but it only worked for the first round. And it didn't really, well, I don't know. Because Kyle Pitts verdict still out on it. I'm not passing judgment on Kyle Pitts yet. But after the first round, what did you do? After the first round, what did you do? You got a majority of your talent from free agency or what was already here. See what I'm saying? That's where the issues are. That's why we're having problems. Because well, you didn't find impact. You got AK. He's a lot. He's gonna give you 6 sacks a season. He's a lot. He's a good rotational piece. He's not that impact player that you were sitting there looking at Jalen Walker or Jay Spears to actually be. And if we had found something like that 4 years ago, where would we be at now? See what I'm saying?
Right. Well, all right, gents. On that note, we're going to check out. We've been in here about 3 hours and 30 minutes, so we'll do our customary around the panel. If everybody want to go ahead and let everybody who's watching or will watch later exactly where they can find you at on your shows, your podcasts, or your social media. We can start off with you, John.
The eye test.
You muted.
Unmuted.
I can hear that.
I heard it. Go ahead.
Who we just lose?
You wrapping up. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, the eye test. Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock on these NBC stations. Me and my partner Winston, we go over the order of the day.
John about to get us clip for copyright infringement. Talking about an NBC station.
Hey, man, yeah, we trying.
You better say something over the NBC.
I'm begging them. That's all I'm doing. I'm begging them. Pick us up.
And you know how cheap NBC is these days. They looking for me.
Oh man, yeah. I might have to find somebody else. Might have to go to Turner.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Red.
Y'all know where I'm at, man. Hold on, let me put the camera up. Y'all know where I'm at. Monday through Friday. We on hiatus right now from the Red and Red show to August 23rd. But for right now, you know where I'm at. Facebook, iTest, Waffle House, Falcon Talk, Sports Talk, Entertainment. Y'all. You know who it is. RED. Thanks for having me today, Titus. Love
Yes, sir.
chopping it up with you today, fellas.
Yeah, appreciate you coming through. James, let them know where they can find you and what you got going on, sir.
Um, you can find me on in Atlanta Bird Gang on the eye test. As always, Waffle House. I'm gonna let Coach talk about the show more. In regards to that, that's coming up soon as well. And with the Coach's Corner and James Holloway on Facebook if you want to follow me.
All right. Winston, let them know where you at, man. What's going on with you?
Yo. Catch me on my brother John on Facebook in the iTest group, and catch us Wednesday night, 10 p.m. every Wednesday on the iTest. We start out with Falcon content. Ain't no telling where this road gonna go, but you're gonna enjoy the ride along the way, man. Appreciate you, Shad, for having us on here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming on. All right. Coach, take us to the house, sir.
All right. First, I want to ask Tidy, did we reach any type of middle common ground on this situation? You and I, did we finally reach some type of anything?
No, but that's okay. That's life. We gotta agree.
All right, it's all right. Okay, I was hoping we could, but it's all good. Yeah, man. You can find me anywhere on any of these great shows where the Falcons are being discussed. Always coming in with a hot take. And if you like that, or if you don't like it and just want to give me the shit talking, come join us at the Coach's Corner, where we will be discussing the Falcons defense each and every week, the good, the bad, the ugly, what we did like, what we didn't like, what we could do better, anything defensive related. That'll be jumping off soon. Give with my partner James. Want to shoot for the first preseason game, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the 8th. So here in a couple weeks, I hope so. But yeah, man, please come join us, man. Help us grow organically, as well as help the eye test and the Atlanta Bird game grow organically. We want to be, all of us collectively, the best podcasters that offers Atlanta Falcons content. So even if you don't agree with us, because we don't ever agree, come join us, man. Support your Falcon, your fellow Falcon lovers, and let's just have a great season, man. And see y'all there.
Yes, sir. And Coach, before we get out of here, you just made a key point, man. That's one thing that I love about, how all of us operate regardless of the show. We all 6, 7, 8, or how many of us be on the panel, we all ain't just agreeing with one person. You know what I'm saying? And that's the good thing about it, because in life, you ain't supposed to agree about everything. Everybody ain't supposed to agree. If so, we'd all be the same color. We'd all have the same fingerprint. So I love that about how we operate. We don't all just sit here and we're going to agree. Everybody ain't going to agree with it, John. Everybody ain't going to agree with Red, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm start running my mouth. I want to thank all you gentlemen.
Hold on real quick, Toddy. Let me say, I absolutely agree with you, bro. I may disagree with everyone on here, but everybody I talk to, I genuinely love each and every one of y'all guys, man. And I'm always appreciative to be able to. I look forward to being able to talk to you guys about sports, except Winston, because I don't know what's going on with him. But everybody else I love to death, man. And I'll just all right, but go ahead, Toddy. My bad. I just wanted to throw that out there. Love all you guys.
No, you good, you good. And with that said, man, y'all boys have a blessed weekend, what's left of it, and we'll catch y'all sometime next week, or when we catch y'all again. Peace.
All right.
Peace.